What is going on? We are tackling a Dynasty Superflex startup mock draft, and then we will be reviewing some of your team's trade questions in the back half of this stream for a Dynasty Decisions and startup mock draft combined stream here. So we are going to kick it off, Danny. It is the dead time of year. There's not much going on. I believe voluntary or not voluntary mini camps, OTAs, all that stuff were in the books now officially for every team. The only news that can come out between now and training camp is bad. Usually it's like this guy got a DUI. This guy hurt himself training or
drove
whatever.
a 102 in a 65 zone. Shout out Shadur.
Yeah. Like any news that comes out from now until the end of July is bad news usually because all the players are in, Turks and Caicos or whatever, like doing whatever they do. And we should be just kind of counting down the days before we get some fun and we get some actual football happening. So the link to join the draft, by the way, is in the chat. We're just going to kind of vamp until it fills up. There's about 8 spots right now. So if you guys want to join the draft with us, it will be a Dynasty Superflex half tight end premium start 10 third round reversal, as you can see in the top left corner there. And we're going to go about 13 rounds, and then we'll tackle those team reviews. Shout out to Kevin here in the chat. He says, love this channel. Been listening and re-listening to the pods for about a year now. I can legitimately say you guys have a better product than the fantasy footballers. That's high praise, man. Really appreciate that. When it comes to Dynasty, I don't know if I'd necessarily say we're on that level, but really appreciate that.
I appreciate that nonetheless. And I mean, obviously with what the footballers have done in the industry, just in terms of the production value, in terms of being the first of the scene over on YouTube, obviously the community that they've grown. Appreciate that.
Yep. Jason, let's go, boys.
What's going
on? You guys crush it. Appreciate you. I've noticed we had a couple redraft bros trickle back into the scene. I believe me and Mason were talking about this in the creator chat today. We're going to convert the best ball rankings over to 2025 rankings on the site because I think people are really starting to get amped up about the redraft league starting. And the mock draft tool, for those of you guys that don't know, we do have mock drafts going live on the site. We have mock draft lobbies just like you would on, ESPN or Yahoo or whatever. And you can hop into drafts right now. We are working on getting the redraft ones going because I know a lot of people probably want to start doing some redraft mocks, but you can do Dynasty Superflex, one quarterback, rookie mocks whenever you guys want to. So definitely check that stuff out. And we're still waiting for this draft to finish up here. Not much going on. Time to cook up some trades and draft on Underdog. Underdog drafts have saved my mental sanity for this time of year because there's nothing else going on. If we didn't have Underdog right now, like what the hell would we be doing?
I mean, speaking of, I just made a pick in one of my slow BBMs, and we may as well show everybody kind of what our exposures kind of look like. For me, obviously, a lot of my slows are still finishing, unfortunately, because I went after when you did. I'm assuming all of yours are done at this point.
I have about 3 or 4 left still that are like kind of dragging the wagon a little bit, but.
Yeah. So how many drafts have finalized, does it say for you?
43.
43. Okay. So for me, I got 12 BBMs that have finalized, 1 Greyhound, and then the 3 Pugs, which those 4 drafts I actually did at the Panera live. Yes, you heard that correctly. I did 4 drafts sitting there eating a soup and a sandwich while people were probably watching me. When I got sniped on Travis.
Every time he goes.
Dude, Panera and drafts is a meta, man. I'm telling you. But with that being said, 16 teams drafted so far. Some of the, guys that you would expect me to have a lot of, but I'll share my screen here. One that I've been drafting a lot of, and I actually said it to you. I mean, you see Keenan Allen, 56.3%. He's going off the board in the 190s right now. For me, in my early drafts, I would rather get all of it right now. And then when he signs and he's a 14th round pick, draft him 0%.
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking he's a good closing line value pick, I think that's totally fair. Yeah. You could have absolutely made the case that Nick Chubb was the same before he had signed anywhere. J.K. Dobbins was the same before he had signed anywhere. And now both of those guys have gone up in value. So you and I were talking about it beforehand. I was like, why can't we get Keenan Allen just on like the Cardinals? Like the Cardinals could use like just a nice PPR chain mover type of receiver there. So we could use Keenan Allen signing there. We are still too short of the mock filling. So if anybody wants to join that, go ahead. I mean, Travis Hunter is no surprise to anybody. I don't even think we need to talk about that. Bigsby, Igbuka, and Henry. Henry's definitely one of my favorite like later round tight ends to grab because he's such a easy 706 touchdown type of projection, right?
He's an easy stacking option with my second highest owned quarterback. And we've actually talked about Matthew Stafford before. This is a lot too. So early on in these slows, I mean, not early on because I guess a lot of these Stafford picks would have been, a week and a half ago or so. But that was when you could actually get quarterbacks around 16. And at that point, it's like, okay, I have a lot of Devontae Adams. I'll stack him with Matthew Stafford. We were talking a little bit about this off camera. If you don't draft the quarterback like 14 to 22 range with your 14th or 15th round pick, they will not be there in the 16th on Underdog now.
Yeah, people have kind of figured out the meta of like 3 quarterback builds and like, going a little bit later on the quarterback side of things. Need one more for this mock to get going. And yeah, I think that's resulted in anybody who's like a guaranteed starter, Stafford, Rodgers, Tua, Geno, Darnold, those guys starting to go a little bit higher than they were earlier on in the offseason. So it looks like we're full. We can get this randomized. Like I said, if you guys are just joining us, we're going to do a mock first. These are the scoring settings: 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 3 flexes, 1 super flex, half tight end premium, start 10, third round reversal. And then we will get into some team reviews, some trade questions from those of you guys that submitted them over on the site. And if you guys do want to submit team reviews, trade questions, they are pinned in the chat there. And they're also linked in the description as well. But Danny, you're picking 103. I'm picking at the 105. Throughout this mock, we can, we're in a Devy startup right now. What are we, 7 rounds in, give or take?
Yeah, about that. So we are on the 6-11. Ralph's on the clock, and we're starting to see the quarterbacks go off the board. I'm probably having about as actually not about as name brand of a team as you guys could expect, because obviously I've had teams that are completely name brand before, but I'll show you guys the update in a second. With that being said, clear 103 here. I think the top 3 is in any order you like. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels. Those should be the first 3 names off the board in every single one of your startups.
Yeah, pretty straightforward there.
Superflex.
Yes, Superflex. Yeah, pretty straightforward there. I would say I'm actually having other than Baker, there's nobody in it that I've picked that's really on brand for me. Actually, Neighbors is on brand for me, but Neighbors and Baker are pretty much my only 2 guys that I've drafted. In this, we had a little bombshell happen in this league. I'm actually on the clock right now, and I'm going to go with Joe Burrow, who is my highest ranked player here. We had like a little bit of bombshells being dropped in the draft throughout the mid 3rd, 4th round. People were like, guys, I don't think you realize how big a 2x tight end premium is. And of course, this is mainly driven by Danny, who took Brock Bowers at 106, and a couple of other people. I mean, McBride went at the 2-3. We did see a big gap in terms of the next tight end off the board, not until Colston Love went at the 312. But then right around that early 4th round range, when Sam Laporta went off the board, people started realizing, okay, yeah. Like TJ Hawkinson, who I drafted in the 5-9, had 20.9 PPR points per game the last time he was healthy in this format. So I brought this up to you when we were literally in the call deciding the draft order. I'm like, dude, like if I get the 104, like Brock Bowers in this format has like 28 point per game upside as a 22-year-old tight end. Like I was saying this to you, and then you're like, okay, whatever, it's tight end. Everybody's gonna pay tight ends. I was intending on prioritizing tight end more than I thought. Like I was legitimately when I took Baker Mayfield at 4-4, I was legitimately close to taking Sam Laporta. Like I almost took him there, but I was like, you know what? I feel like I can get a better PPR tight end, because Laporta's not really a PPR tight end. He's more of like a touchdown, big play tight end. I can get a better PPR tight end a little bit later, and that's when I took Hawkinson. When I was on the board, I think it was 5-6 when Jared was on the clock, I was asking him to trade up because Kittle and Hawkinson were still on the board. And I was like, okay, if Kittle and Hawkinson go, I'm pretty comfortable with Devontae Smith falling to me. So if both of them go and Devontae Smith, I'll just live with that. But yeah, I was hoping one of those tight ends fell, whether it was Kittle or Hawkinson, and Hawkinson was the one that fell.
The other thing too is I had Herbert and Lawrence initially, and now obviously I ended up selling Herbert because I traded up to get the 512, where Bryce Young to me was the best player available on the board. Like I like the receiver range. I think there's a couple nice receivers here. Obviously the win now running back equity. If you like a McCaffrey, you like a Taylor. For me though, especially in a 6-point scoring, 6-point passing touchdown format, like Bryce Young, the upside that you have there at the 512 to me was worth more than that. So when I noticed that, I had Trevor Lawrence. I drafted the 310, obviously the stack with my Travis Hunter, as you guys know, I had to end up with in this league. I ended up making the deal with Ryland, tiered up from Herbert to get my boy CeeDee Lamb. Got Ward back in that deal. So now my quarterback core is Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward, and Bryce Young. And potentially, if I can sell Cam Ward, maybe either get NFL draft equity, maybe Devy equity to be able to build back. I'm honestly comfortable with Lawrence, Young, and a vet quarterback 3 if I need to. But if I'm stuck with, Lawrence, Ward, and Young, one of those between Ward and Young is going to gain value this year. So I'm cool either way. I'm really fluid. If I move Ward, if I hold him, whatever type of circumstances are happening.
Yeah. So sorry, do you have Lawrence, Ward, and Young as your 3 quarterbacks?
Yes.
Or do you have another quarterback in addition to that?
So I had Herbert, and I obviously made that bombshell deal with Rylan. Ended up getting CeeDee Lamb in that. Basically, the nuts and bolts, I gave my Devy picks in that as well. I got Ward back, and then he was able to get Justin Herbert because we saw a little bit of a quarterback run. 4 quarterbacks in the last, 8 or so picks at that point.
You guys really gonna let me get Patrick Mahomes here with Burrow? All right.
Hey, you'll take it, right?
I mean, I'll take Patrick Mahomes at the 2-8.
Absolutely.
But yeah, well, after this draft is over, or maybe when we're closing out this draft, we can show like kind of a live update. It looks like I'm being a jabroni and just drafting exactly at my draft slot. I promise you, I've been trying to make trades this entire time. I just can't get anything done.
It's hard for you to make trades when I'm making all of them.
Like, so the biggest trade that I tried to make was at 109. I took Malik Neighbors. After you make your pick, I'll actually no. Yeah. We'll keep going. We'll leave the regular startup on the board. I'll just explain this. At 109, I took Malik Neighbors. 204, I took Puka Nacua. Bijan and Puka were the 2 players on the board for me at 204. And it would have been very on brand for me to start my draft Malik Neighbors, Bijan Robinson. But I was like, you know what? You know how many Puka shares I have? 0. So I was like, I should grab a Puka share, and hopefully Bijan will slide a little bit, like another pick or 2, and I might try and trade up for him. So that's what I tried to do. And then when Wes was on the board, who took Bijan, he was like, dude, I can't not take him here. And I was like, okay. After the draft is over, he's like, we can maybe work something out, or,
I tried to offer for Bijan too. I was aggressive for a while, and he's like, dude, like, he's the clear best player on the board. I'm not like,
I know. And he's like, depends what happens with the rest of the clock or the rest of the board here. We'll see what goes
Basically,
on.
what he said is like, I'm trading him as Bijan Robinson, not the 205 value in this draft, because he should not have been available.
No, he's my 110.
Yeah. Which makes sense. So I will talk about my pick a little bit, because usually in that spot, obviously, you guys have seen me just take Travis Hunter. I usually will build a team, fluid out of these startup mocks to kind of give you that glimpse. Let's see what I can do, potentially getting some more point equity. Obviously, I'm not saying Lab McConkey is more of a win now asset, because obviously he's a year 2 receiver, but you are inherently going to have to produce earlier on because he's 24 years old as opposed to 21. So
yeah, I mean, so hear me out. This is a pro Lad McConkey take, not an anti-Travis Hunter take. Should we really be taking Travis Hunter over Lad McConkey in startups?
I mean, I think it's a tier. It really depends on what you're looking for. The reason why I'm willing to, specifically when I'm in more fluid rooms, can't really tell where the room's leaning in terms of, is everybody competing right away? Is everybody trying to tank it back?
Again, I think hot take is that I think McConkey accomplishes that goal too.
Yeah, well, the thing is like inherently you're getting... Hunter can be the wide receiver 1 in Dynasty. I don't think Lad McConkey can. And I think that for me personally, I'm more confident in the splits on offense than maybe you are. But with that being said, like if somebody said, oh yeah, I have Lad McConkey as my 206 in startups, like I don't think that's a hot take. I actually think actually maybe not 206, but like 208 to like 302 realistically, like you want to take Trey McBride, go ahead. You want to take Bo Nix, go ahead. You want to take Marv, go ahead. You want to take Travis Hunter, go ahead. Like to me, that's like after Nico Collins and Drake London are off the board, that's when like decisions start being made.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at my rankings because I was going to adjust them. I'm like, I hope I don't have Hunter ahead of McConkey, because I definitely would take McConkey if I was on the clock in a startup, and I didn't, so I didn't have to make any changes in my ranks.
And I will make that adjustment. I'll add London to the tier up just to get clarity for people that are looking at the rankings. Like, okay, London's there, and then like from then on, it's like
you're a London hater. We all know that.
I have my 9. I have my wide receiver 9.
Yeah, like so here's my thing. I have a tier of players. London. London, Collins, McConkey, Hunter, and Harrison are all in a tier for me. I have London at the head of that tier because he's, very similar projection to Collins, only younger. And I can make the argument, like, especially when you look at, best ball ADP and stuff, how much closer, like, what is a 7-8 pick discrepancy between Lad McConkey and Nico Collins right now? Like, you could get me on board to take McConkey over Collins as well, given the age discrepancy.
It's a 2-year age discrepancy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No. Lad's what, 24, 23?
Brother. It's
He's
a 2-year age.
Years old, man. Nico's 27.
Isn't Lad 2000?
He's 2001, and he was born in November.
And Nico's born in 1999.
Okay, hold on. Let me double check this in a second.
I mean, it's 100% factual. Nico's a 99.
He is. Yeah, I'm just looking. Hold on.
Hey, Henry, you do not want to see where I have Drake May ranked if you think 202 is insanity.
I went kind of contendy with these first two picks, so I'm kind of like caught here with what I want to do. I think it's probably pretty straightforward to just take the stack with T. Higgins there, with Joe Burrow. Let me take a look. Nico Collins. I know you. I think you're right on the. So he's 2.5 years younger because McConkey was born at the end of November and Nico was born at the beginning of March.
For me, and again, I actually made a TikTok on it yesterday. My 7 through 9 in my rankings this year. Like, I honestly think Nico Collins has a pathway to be the wide receiver 1 in fantasy. And I know that's probably the difference between us. For me, in terms of just the contending assets with, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, obviously Puka Nacua is also like a slight tier after those guys, but he would be kind of like a half mini tier between Nico Collins and Jamar Chase. I'm talking about in Dynasty, obviously. Yeah. And Jamar Chase, Jefferson, and, Lamb and Neighbors. But realistically, like, they're my 108 and 109. I would prefer Puka, but I think both of them have access to 22 plus point per game ceilings. Like, really, it's just pro wide receivers in that range. If I can pair one of those receivers plus a McCaffrey, a Genty, or an Achane, like, we're fucking cooking gas.
Yeah, I think my ideal start in that range
double charger.
My ideal start in that range is Puka or Neighbors, and then Achane or Genty. With those are my preferred options as far as what I think will be available as well. Like, depending on your league, like if you're talking about home redraft league, you pick anywhere between 107 to 112 or whatever. For me, I feel like I'd rather get the receiver first if it's Puka or Neighbors specifically. If it's Puka or Neighbors, they project a little bit better for me than Collins, London, Thomas, and the other guys going in that range. So I prefer Puka or Neighbors first and then kind of see what happens to fall to me at running back. But in, super heavy running back rooms, maybe you'll feel obligated to take an Achane or a McCaffrey or a Genty first, knowing that you'll get Neighbors or Puka or Thomas or whoever, London or Collins or whoever falling back to you. I just prefer the top two receivers there with Puka and Neighbors.
Honestly, bro, and I'm looking at it, the difference between the 3-4 turn versus the 4-5 turn, and the difference between the 1-2 turn and the 2-3 turn, like, I honestly think it's optimal this year just picking late. Like, realistically, if you compare two of those guys and then you get Breece Hall falling to you at the end of the third and you pair him with, whichever receiver you like in that range, if you want to, in a managed league, if you want to push George Kittle up the board, I also think that's a fucking fine
You're
pick.
on the clock, by the way.
Also, I started the running back run. Let's go. Wide receivers. Where's Rashee Rice?
Off the board, 3-6.
Oh, shit. Okay. People are wisening up to that. I don't really want to go with a tight end here. I could look at quarterback. I mean, the quarterback's probably going to be the pick. Jordan Love would be my highest rated quarterback here. Similar spot, actually, by the way, 403 overall to where I got Justin Herbert in our startup before I traded him. Also, see this from Henry. You guys are not treating this like a tight end premium. I can't control what happens at the back end of the board. We're both picking in the top 5. I will say, I mean, McBride was in contention for this second round pick, but to me, in a 0.5 tight end premium, I would take Ladd McConkey. If you get a full tight end premium 1.0, that's when I'm having the discussion and probably taking Trey McBride where I took McConkey.
Yeah, I mean, I hate tight ends, Henry. Like, I'm not taking a tight end that early.
In our draft, 1.0 actually matters.
Yeah, 1.0 actually matters. If Mahomes honestly, if Mahomes was the only one off the board, I probably would have taken McBride there. I have him right around that 2-3 turn in a 1.5 tight end premium there. So
I just have Jordan Love straight up ranked higher. Like, I understand, like, there is the stacking implication. Like, I could have taken Herbert here, but
yeah, I mean, you probably should have taken Herbert given the rest of your team.
Yeah, I could have.
I'm gonna, again, to Henry's point, maybe I should be taking Laporta here, but I think the running backs are better picks personally. The Henderson and Judkins tier of running back, I think, is better. You guys know I love me some Devontae Smith, but I feel like I can get a couple similar receivers later. Between Henderson and Judkins, I have them ranked pretty similarly. I'll lean Henderson given the long-term quarterback appeal with Drake May there. And then we'll see what kind of falls back to me. I feel like I can get some good value there. Let's check into the comments section, see what's going on. over here.
Bush, you know the analyst startup that I joined. I got Judkins at the 603 in that.
That's insane, dude.
Right?
Insane. People are like, "What is missed tackles forced rate is probably bad or whatever." That's what they're doing. Jason says, if I have a stacked team and want to upgrade JSN to Brian Thomas Jr., is it worth including a first?
Mid to late first? I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
I don't think that gap is that big.
I disagree.
So I know what you're going to say. You're going to say consolidation this, consolidation that.
Yeah.
But I actually think the very fact that Hunter and Thomas are both there kind of does, like, because you made the point earlier that Hunter can be the dynasty wide receiver one, Ladd McConkey cannot. I think McConkey being in a low pass volume offense is the same limiting factor in the market's mind as Brian Thomas and Hunter being on the same team.
And I think that's a reasonable take to have. However, again, that's the reason why I have Puka Nacua in my first round and Devontae Adams on my 2-3 turn this year. Realistically, if you trust the quarterback play and you trust the offensive scheme to be able to feed a concentrated a concentrated passing offense to two what I view elite talents on the outside there with Hunter and Thomas, I'm perfectly comfortable with it. I think what Thomas showed as a rookie, I mean, I've thrown these comps before, obviously 2018 Steelers, obviously the past Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like when you have two elite talent wide receivers that are clearly the best receiving talents in their room, it's going to be a concentrated offense inherently. I mean, even like looking back, Roddy White plus Julio Jones, there's so many examples of duos in NFL history, both having 1,200 plus overall yard upside in a single year.
I guess my only pushback on the trade that you bring up is that I don't know if I'd pay quite a mid to late first straight. Yeah. I think I'd want a two back. Just because
you're just not going to
when I look at my best ball wide receiver rankings, for example, I have Brian Thomas at 9 and I have Jackson Smith and Jigba at 13. Like they're not that far off.
Where do you have them overall though? Where do you have them overall?
Overall, I have let me take a look at my overalls. My overalls, I have Brian Thomas at 15 and I have JSN at 24.
Okay, so it's a little bit bigger of a gap for me, A and B. Realistically, I'm assuming that's a mid to late one. If it's an early to mid one, okay, you want to say, hey, insulate, get that pick back. I don't mind that. For me personally, though, like if we had to contextualize a year from now, would you pay Jonah Coleman plus JSN for Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yeah, I don't think Jonah Coleman's going to be a first round pick, dude.
Who's projected to be the 110 to 112 next year?
Let's say Denzel Boston has a big season or something like that.
I'm consolidating every single time.
Oh my God, Smith fell back to me.
Oh, I mean, you're feeling that got you feeling nicey.
I have Mahomes.
Hey, that got you feeling nicey.
It did get me feeling nicey. I think I might have to take Worthy here because I have Mahomes, and I think, I got kind of a competitive window looking team though. I'll take Smith.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, I like me some Smith, as everyone knows. I don't know if you saw the discourse on Twitter yesterday. The 20-second BBM timer went away for about a day, and then everyone bitched about it. It came back.
Everybody was tweaking about it for about 2 minutes, and it's like, oh, it's fine, actually. Also, you're going to pass on Worthy, but I will not. I'll take Xavier.
Yeah. Big Sonny's asking, what are we running for tonight's game? Yeah, Game 7 NBA Finals tonight. Obviously, we want to see Hamilton's finest bring it home.
You want to make one live?
I already made one. So
I haven't made one. Let's make one live after.
You might have to message Spicy to get in here if you want to do that. But I already made one on TikTok. If you guys are following the Fantasy Stock Exchange on TikTok, you'll see it over there. It's also on our Instagram as well. So for those of you guys who are unaware, Danny has a TikTok now. Follow that. I don't think it's linked in the description right now, Danny. You might want to update that.
Here, let me
all the links, all of our social links, like my Twitter, Danny's Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, it's all linked in the description of all of our videos. But our Instagram is a collection of both of our TikToks, but you can follow each of us on TikTok over there. Mine's just Fantasy Stock Exchange, and then yours is what? Lad FSE or something?
It's FSC Lad right now because I got locked into that name. I'm going to switch it to @the_Ladster as soon as July 2nd is when I can.
I see.
Yeah, I know. Like it's whatever, but hey, if you search up FSC Lad, I'll be there. Plus, of course, like I said, I'll link it into the description. Plus, I'll probably just put it in the YouTube chat in a second. Can I make a pick'em with you in 20-ish? Okay, So I am back on the clock here. I'm going to make my pick, and then, of course, I'm going to send the link to that TikTok in a second. What are we dealing with here? Tyler Warren going off the board right before my pick. Interesting. I said I want to go win now, but then I got Colson Loveland staring me in the face. I'm kind of tempted there, but
I mean, George Kittle's also on the board if you're going win now.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go win now, win now. When do I ever make a team that is win now, win now? The win now piece that I'm referring to is a guy that I think has first overall player upside this year.
Okay. Wrong 49er, but I get it.
Hey, I can see if he falls back.
He will not, because I will select him if he falls to
me. Yeah, you know the thesis there. 24.5 points per game in 2023.
Kirk Cousins just fucked me. I think I'm gonna grab Chase Brown here at running back. Be between him and Jacobs for sure, but I think Chase Brown gives me a little bit more flexibility. And then I do have my picks loaded in here. So for those of you guys that are wondering, 3 picks for tonight's game, Game 7, NBA Finals. I got TJ McConnell higher than 12.5 points plus rebounds. He has been really, really increased in minutes since Halliburton's injury. So you're looking at 18 to 24 minutes there. Steam is, I think, minus 135 on FanDuel, DraftKings, a couple other books there. So you're getting a nice value point. And he had, I believe, 21 points plus rebounds last game, and he's hit this in 3 straight, I believe, as well. Shea, I have him going lower than 38.5 points plus rebounds, mainly just a probability play for the most part, because Shea is his average over his last 10 games has been about 33. And he's also been lower than this in 3 straight as well. He doesn't get a ton of rebounds. He's a guard. So usually you just need him to go below like 28, 30 points, and he'll be floating around this range. And again, the books kind of like this going lower as well. And then Pascal Siakam, he's been screwing me on rebounds, blocks, and steals constantly. So I'm going to avoid that entirely, go lower than 23.5 points plus assists. The way that they've been defending him with like Caruso and Jalen Williams, he's not been able to pass the ball very much. So if he burns me, it's all points, which he hasn't been scoring like a shit ton. He's been mainly getting through the fantasy production ones that I've been taking against him because of, blocks and steals and all this kind of stuff. So I like him to go lower there. And I'm ripping this one to $20 to win 120. And then, of course, if you have your extender token, I believe it's a 90% or 100% profit boost. If you use your extender token tonight, you have had to have started with game 1. So you basically boost your profit as every game goes along. But yeah, it's a 100% profit boost if you guys have been using that extender token. And if you guys are new, of course, you can get it's not a Halliburton free square. It's a Shea free square tonight. But yeah, good. It'll be the last one until football season gets going. But yeah, you'll get that new customer free pick. And of course, use the promo code FSE when you sign up if you guys are new on Underdog to get into the action for tonight's game tonight.
Yeah, sorry. I'm currently okay. I found the description. I'm just gonna get my TikTok linked into the description quick.
F salad.
Huh?
That's what your hat looks like. F salad.
F salad.
You might have to keep it that. I kind of like that, to be honest. I like FSC Lad better than the Ladster, to be honest.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Danny. All right, dope. It should be I just put it into the actual like settings portion.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it'll update every description. Let's get it. He is riding with you. And like I said, hopefully, by the way, shout out Spicy P, Toronto
Raptor, great.
Great.
How would you know, Danny? You're a Laker fan.
I mean, still. They're able to appreciate what he did. FSC Lad goes hard. Low key.
Yeah.
F salad.
F salad, dude. I think it might become a meme. F salad.
Yeah, facts. No, I will say I do enjoy editing those TikToks because I could just throw whatever fucking clip that I think looks cool I want in there. And like I don't have to worry about like on YouTube. So like I want to throw Christian McCaffrey highlights like over fucking Lil Durk. It's like I'll mute the Lil Durk part, but I'll be like going through the YouTube edits like, yo, like this song's kind of banging. It's not going to be in the TikTok, but I'm enjoying like the downloading and fucking putting
for what it's worth, you can just put that on TikTok. No one cares.
Yeah. No, I feel
no one's gonna like report you for using Lil Durk music.
No, I know, but like I'll be communicating, like I'll be talking over it.
Oh yeah.
So also, if you guys are unfamiliar, by the way I usually do it is I'll have obviously my voice like 15 gain notches higher than background music, but I'll have the little. I mean, Corey knows the little.
Oh, you use that music?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I forgot you were using that. Danny, I'd be lying to you if I said I was watching all your TikToks.
Hey, I don't expect you to.
But yeah, for those of you guys that are unaware, we put out long form content, streams, videos, and stuff on here. All the short form content that you guys don't see because you're not following us on TikTok or Instagram, you won't see it on here. So extra content for free is what we got going. That's my TikTok there. Danny linked his in the chat. And then the Instagram is a combination of the two TikToks. It's just a Reels page for now, but maybe if we get it growing, we'll get going on some other stuff. And you guys know I got to take my guy here. I'm riding with the freaks this year. We go DK Metcalf
Let's go
with the pick there.
boy.
Danny thinks he's mid, but I do not.
Yeah, so I also starred my TikTok, Corey's TikTok in there, the Instagram page that we have shared for us, and then I just also linked if you guys want to see kind of how the format of it is, type shit. 7 through 9 picks. I also linked in there. So yeah, that actually just dropped yesterday, both on the TikTok and on the Instagram. Sorry.
Yeah, and I dropped my NBA picks over there, and then during the season too, we were ripping Thursday night football, Monday night football, all that shit for underdog picks.
Sure.
You're on the clock here.
Yeah, a pretty interesting decision. Unfortunately, wide receiver kind of got ripped apart. I was hoping like maybe a Pickens fell, but I mean, I'm gonna take. To stay a little bit fluid, I'm going to take Jerry Jeudy with one of these picks and more than likely one of the older wide receivers with the next one because I'm pretty cool with any of them. Also, I see a name actually down here I'm going to star in case he does fall.
Yeah. Jake in the chat goes, "Sup, boys? I traded Ladd, Egbuka, and Strange. Gotta love me, boy, Brenton, for Saquon, McLaurin, and Njoku." So I think this is relatively fair. I mean, in our league formats, Ladd's going to go way before Saquon, but I think in terms of market value, they're a little closer in terms of what most people think of those two players. Egbuka, McLaurin, again, I would prefer Egbuka for sure, but again, I think market value would dictate those guys be relatively similar, and you're getting the tight end upgrade to make up for it with Strange to Njoku, who obviously you and I are quite fond of Njoku as a good option. Said I'm competing and needed a running back, been rebuilding for 3 years and decided to go all in. The one thing I would say about that strategy is I kind of just like when my team becomes really competitive as opposed to trading for a guy like Saquon Barkley, who automatically puts you in a short-term productive window. Like I would have rather gone hard and gone after Bijan or Gibbs or Genty or something who can keep you in a productive window longer. Because when you're coming out of a rebuild, there's a very good chance you still have young players and your young players may not perform at the level of like a Saquon Barkley. So I like to build out a young team that gets better every year. And like, let's say you have a 5-year window where you're going to be really productive. They might not be as good in year 1 as they are in year 3. And that's why I like kind of matching my team, all young wide receivers, all young running backs, all young quarterbacks, so on and so forth.
0 Cowboys through 8 rounds. Hey, I had to give you guys a fresh look in one of these drafts. I want to hear you guys argue about Nico again. For those of you that are in the Devy League, we had a little bit of a Nico Drake London brawl in there with Falcons fan Gingerale saying that it's not even close because, I mean...
Well, Falcons fan Gingerale knows ball. That's why.
Falcons fan Gingerale also said that Michael Penix is better than CJ Stroud in that same chat.
So he's not. But it wouldn't shock me if his numbers were better this year.
Yeah, no, shout out AJ. He knows we're trolling.
Am I about to draft someone I never draft?
Probably, if you say it like that.
Jamison Williams at 8'5"? I think that's pretty solid.
I considered him.
Tight end, gross. Don't want to touch that.
Yeah.
Quarterback, I have Mahomes. I could take Dart here. Mahomes, Burrow, and Dart would be kind of nice, but I think J-Mo might actually be my pick here.
Falcons fan Gingerale also said that Drake London had an elite rookie season.
I mean, a 30% target share at 21 years old is friggin' elite, but whatever.
I don't know. When I think of elite rookie season, I think of like Justin Jefferson.
Dog, they threw 412 pass attempts.
Jamar Chase. You know, he's not quite the first name I think of when it comes to elite rookie season.
If I looked up how many times Cousins and Burrow threw their rookie seasons and applied Drake London's rookie season target share to it, he probably has 175 targets as a rookie. Yeah, I mean, he had 415 pass attempts his rookie year from his offense.
From Ritter and Mariota, was it, right?
Oh, God.
What a duo.
One thing I'm not looking forward to, there's going to be at least 7 or 8 teams every year that just make your eyes bleed.
Yeah.
When you watch them on Sundays. And I already know watching Tyler Shuck is going to make me want to die.
Dude, I will say, though, I can't wait for some shitty fucking quarterbacks to make me laugh this season. I can't wait. Like, there's going to be, like, random bozo moments that I'm just, like, I will be on the edge of my seat.
Was the GOAT last year.
Yeah, bro, fuck. Do you think he'll ever get it? Like, do you think he'll ever get a job where he can be a bridge quarterback for a year? Like the Darnold, bro?
I think he could get a bridge quarterback job. He could get a Drew Lock type of situation going on where he like starts half a year and like maybe looks decent and then, or like a Malik Willis situation, former Titan as well, where like, I wouldn't be shocked if next year Malik Willis gets a bridge quarterback job after this season.
Dude, I see it already, bro. It's going to be a Shanahan team. So let's think about it. It'll be what team has a short-term quarterback situation?
The Rams.
The Rams. Okay, let's say Stafford retired and they were tanking for Arch Manning in 2027, and they randomly signed Will Levis, and he had a Darnold-like Minnesota resurgence.
So we keep seeing these quarterback resurgences every single year. 2022 Geno Smith, 2023.
It tells you that situation matters.
2022 Geno, 2023 Mayfield, 2024 Darnold. The easy answer is Daniel Jones, but if it's not Daniel Jones, let's say, who's the 2025 resurgent quarterback? It doesn't mean they need to have like 35 touchdowns like Sam Darnold had last year, but just a resurgent quarterback who gets a starting job going into 2025 or 2026.
So it's challenging because obviously there's only like 3 or 4 ambiguous quarterback situations in the league at this point.
Well, they could just fill in injury wise for their current team and then sign with a new team. So it could be kind of like an impending free agent situation as well.
Let me take a look. So I just want to see some depth charts around the league so I can kind of get a picture on the backup quarterback landscape. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo would fit the Rams well if Stafford were to ever go down. I think that's a good insurance policy for them. Obviously, you're not getting remotely the same ceiling in the offense because, I mean, there's just flat out a discrepancy of the quarterbacks. But, I mean, it's not like he has to learn the system all over, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. This is a decent shout by over. I Cousins playing, like if Penix got hurt or some kind of gets dealt to a new team. My thought process, like obviously the Falcons are being really lame about this. But if I was Pittsburgh, I would have much rather had Kirk Cousins than Rodgers. Like, why would you not want Kirk Cousins instead of Rodgers?
It's the contract because Rodgers got a cheap deal.
I realize that, but if the Falcons were not being lame about this and you could have just given them a 5th round pick for them to eat half the money or something, you could have done that if you were Pittsburgh. It's just that the Falcons are probably like, we want a 2 or something crazy. They were probably being dumb as hell.
I also unironically think that Russell Wilson's going to have a pretty good season.
I've been drafting he's the last round Russell Wilson on Underdog because I take so much neighbors. I'm like, I'll tack on a Russ Wilson third quarterback here.
The market's so sure that Dart will play this year. I think it's about a 50-50 coin flip if he starts more than one game.
So the problem with that statement, though, is that the Giants would need to win like 9 games for Dart to not see the field.
Maybe.
So unless you think that if you think this, you should probably be hammering the higher on their win total.
I've been drafting a ton of Russell Wilson. That's why I'm saying this too. You're not wrong though. Like what's their win total right now? Probably 4.5, 5.5 wins.
It's probably not high.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think they actually got it like a relatively decent roster.
I'll take Tuck Craft here.
Let me see here. Okay. I'm looking through the quarterback landscapes across the board. Obviously,
you know what my answer is going to be, right?
You're going to say Sam Howell for Darnold.
No, he's on Minnesota for starting.
Oh, he went to Minnesota, right? He got traded this offseason.
Sam Howell would be my second answer to this question, but there's a very obvious injury-prone quarterback who has a darling of mine sitting behind him on the depth chart.
Oh God, he might play in a warm weather city, won't he?
Dude, Zach Wilson taking over for Tua in week 3 after he suffers his 47th career concussion, and Zach Wilson's son running a monster year in the Dolphins offense. What did we say about Zach Wilson coming out of BYU? Dude, just get this guy in a 49er scheme. That's what we all said about it. If Zach Wilson torched the NFL as the Miami Dolphins quarterback, I will be insufferably excited about it. I'm not going to lie. He probably stinks. Let's just get that clear. But it would be really funny if he took over for an injured Tua, and because he has weapons, he has coaching and all that kind of stuff, he just cooks. It'd be funny as hell.
How do I get back-to-back sniped at tight end?
Tough.
The fuck?
Yeah. I mean, Kenny Pickett is also a potential answer to this question because he actually might legitimately start week 1 for an NFL team.
Yeah, he could.
You could, like I said, I think Sam Howell's not a terrible one too, just because McCarthy could be coming, back slowly or whatever. Maybe suffers a re-aggravation of some kind. I could see Howell having like not a completely awful start to the year if he was to start for Minnesota. Dude, Minnesota turned Sam Darnold into a 35 passing touchdown quarterback. Like, you're telling me Sam Howell can't be like a functional starter in that offense?
No, you're not wrong. Also, I got every fucking notification for this mock draft because I forgot to turn them off. So that's kind of annoying. But
Ralph just said in the chat he sent both of us a trade offer. I was
going to check. Yeah.
So I'm reading it right now.
Okay, go ahead. I was just saying I was going to check it, but fucking holy crap. I got every notification I could have possibly not wanted in this mock draft. Sorry.
Also, you're on the clock, by the way.
Yep. Okay. Dope. Yeah, sure. Fucking may as well just get my tight end to cement the winning build. Joe Milton's going to tear it up. God.
I mean, Dak Prescott gets injured again, and you guys probably don't really feel great about him, huh? I think you're overestimating somebody. Like, obviously, you're a Dak truther, and you love Dak, and
he's a stud quarterback.
If he got hurt again, like, I legit think there'd be questions about if he should stick around.
From not smart people.
I'm just saying, your team's brass would probably start to question if they should keep him around.
Yeah, I mean, you are way too plugged into Cowboy Twitter.
No, I'm just like, you're telling me if he suffered a shoulder injury, ankle injury, something that would be a pretty significant recovery, they wouldn't be like, maybe we should like consider putting this guy on the block a little bit. He's been a little bit banged up in his career. I don't like, you're looking at me like I'm nuts. Like, and I really do think that conversation would exist in your team's building.
That's just not how contracts work. When you sign a quarterback for $50 million or $60 million, you first of all, like, you're not eating $45 million to trade a quarterback. That's just not happening. Unless you're the fucking Russell Wilson Broncos.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's outrageous to suggest they might consider moving off of him if the price were right from another franchise, if he's been banged up that much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they think like that.
I want to take my I feel like Darnold's probably the best pick on the board here, right? Yeah, I'll take a third quarterback here, Sam Darnold. I think that's 10th round seems really nice.
I'm assuming you're saying in Dynasty. Well, I mean, he was coming off of a pretty significant injury. Didn't really look like himself last year. Target competition in Minnesota. I still think he's a good value where he goes in drafts. But for me, Kittle was the tight end 1 in points per game last year, and you got 2 top 15 picks with Loveland and Warren. I think they have to be above Hawkinson personally.
The thing with Hawkinson is this. If TJ Hawkinson is totally back to 100% 2023 TJ Hawkinson, he should probably be tight end 3 in Dynasty right now. If we knew that for sure. Because he's had a better season and he's only 27 than most of the tight ends who like have a 3 to 4 year projection. Again, Kittle this year I would definitely prefer, but Kittle's also 31 years old. Like, there's a very good like in a startup I would much rather take TJ Hawkinson personally, just because he keeps me a little bit more flexible. But the problem with TJ Hawkinson that I'm a little bit worried about, even as somebody who drafted him in our startup that we're in right now, is that he was a 4.70 guy before the injury. So I'm a little worried that like even, let's say he recovers fully and all this kind of stuff. He didn't look very fast last year and he wasn't fast before. So I'm a little worried that he might just be kind of like a Zach Ertz current day.
Well, my thought process is, to me, like, Hawkinson and Njoku, like, they both kind of are similar ages. They both kind of dealt with injuries in the past. Both obviously have top 5 level tight end upside. It's like, I would rather just wait out which of the second of that group that I can get between those two and just draft whoever's cheaper. And usually it's just been Njoku, which is why I have so much
99% of the time going to Njoku.
Because to me, like, they're virtually the exact same asset. To me, if I'm drafting George Kittle, I'm completely prioritizing my point per game production. If I'm drafting Warren and Loveland, I'm completely prioritizing staying liquid, staying fluid, and drafting just such sure investments with top 15 overall, 23 and younger tight ends. Like, you're hoping that, I mean, realistically, given the prospect profiles and given the draft capital for both of them, should we be taking both of them above Laporta? Like, realistically?
It's hard to know with Sam Laporta, man. What's the right thing to do with him? Like, it's really difficult to figure out what is the correct take to have on Sam Laporta. Also, I feel like
one of
Jacoby
one.
Myers and Debo Samuel are just really good values here. I'm gonna grab Debo. I call me nuts here on Debo really quick.
11th round, I'll take it.
Like he was a wide receiver 1 in fantasy 2 years ago.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. He is relatively cheap based off the potential production you can get. I'm going to be looking down the board here most likely. Yeah, this is a tough range. Is there any quarterbacks maybe that slip through the cracks? Nothing really. I mean, Daniel Jones is pretty intriguing, but I'll keep looking. Tajay, Jordan Mason. Okay, what about rookies only?
I mean, Sharps is pretty nice at this spot, I think.
Yeah, Sharps is pretty interesting. I could take like a Mason Taylor type in this hypothetical build because Andrew's a little bit volatile. I wouldn't mind double dipping a tight end with Taylor.
What about your boy Jake Ferg?
Well, that's the thing. I'd probably just wait around to draft the tight end, which is why I kind of was showing you guys my thought process on it. Pat Bryant has been somebody that's been raising up my rankings simply because who else is going to fucking work into that role? I'll take Charbonnet here. RB3. Yeah, I needed an RB3 specifically because I said I wanted to compete with this team. But going back to the Pat Bryant point, team didn't really show any type of commitment to Troy Franklin as a rookie. Marvin Mims is still a inconsistent, volatile snap share on a per week basis player. And Devon Vele, we saw in the big slot role last year, legitimately have production. So to me, when I'm looking at it, like if Pat Bryant, like I didn't think he had an incredibly high ceiling as a prospect, but we both thought he could be a good football player, a Romeo Doubs type. Romeo Doubs in this offense has the opportunity to be the wide receiver too.
Yeah, no, there's a couple decent options for the Packers that I don't mind swinging on as well. Yeah.
Broncos.
Broncos. Sorry, that I don't mind swinging on. I don't mind Franklin in the last round of best ball drafts. I don't mind Mims. Like Mims goes a little high in Dynasty. I actually think he's a
Why
better
does Mims
value.
go before Bryant?
Yeah, I mean the big spike week upside that he showed at the end of the year, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, I will take Pat Bryant here again. Like, I don't think he's gonna all of a sudden be the next Puka Nacua or something. Like, I don't think that type of talent ceiling is in the range of outcomes. But like I said, like you look at Devon Vele last year, and I made the argument against Evan Ingram, saying like, okay, what if some other wide receiver, maybe it's Devon Vele, maybe it's Pat Bryant, takes some more big slot snaps. Devon Vele had like a stretch run last year where he was averaging over 50 yards per game and pretty efficient on his targets. Like he was Pat Bryant's in that role.
He was okay when he got opportunities.
Yeah. It just makes me think, like, obviously, I mean, I don't think Pat Bryant's like the next even Marcus Colston, but it's hard not to see, big wide receiver that moves pretty well, that can be a functional hands catcher operating that role for Peyton.
Yeah. I'm going to grab Tajay here. I think Tajay has a chance to take over that backfield.
Yep.
Danny, care to guess? There's some propaganda coming from me here, just keep in mind.
Yep.
I mean, propaganda on two of my favorite players, actually, but the highest success rate versus zone coverage that Matt Harmon has sampled so far this offseason from the 2024 season. Who do you think are the top three receivers?
Rashee Rice is one of them. He was 99th percentile.
So I'm excluding Rashee Rice because it was a 3-game sample size. But yes, he was the top receiver. But excluding Rashee Rice because it was a very small sample.
Puka was 91st percentile, so he's probably there.
He is number 2. Yep.
I'm trying to think who else was sampled. I know Josh Downs had a high overall. I don't know if he hit there on zone.
He's number 1 versus
zone. He hit there on
zone?
Okay.
Versus zone coverage, which, by the way, is the most played coverage in the NFL these days. Josh Downs separated at the highest level in the NFL of the receivers sampled, which includes all of the 2023 receivers, all of the 2024 receiver class, a lot of the veteran free agents that changed teams or whatever, like Godwin and Diggs and all those guys were sampled, because the way Harmon does it is that in free agency, he samples all the guys who are in free agency, anybody who gets traded. So a guy like DK Metcalf is in there. And then he does first year guys, Neighbors, Brian Thomas, McConkey, those type of dudes. And then he was doing second year guys just now. Number 3 on this list is also from the 2023 wide receiver class. And it's my guy as well. And he separated and beat zone coverage nearly at the rate that Puka Nacua did, higher than Chris Godwin, higher than Jaden Reed, higher than Ladd McConkey, higher than Marvin Harrison Jr., higher than Malik Neighbors, higher than Brian Thomas, higher than JSN, higher than Xavier Worthy. This guy separated versus zone coverage higher than all of them.
Is he the guy that hasn't played in a 500-plus pass attempt offense that averaged 12 points per game last year?
That would be correct. That's Zay Flowers.
Did you see the joke I made in the sleeper chat after you took him?
I don't care, man. I really don't. I really don't care that Zay Flowers plays in a low-volume offense. I really don't care. He plays with Lamar. He's the most efficient quarterback in the league.
It was just Patrick Star with the heart logos and the kick feet back. Bush when he could draft 12 points per game in a sub 500 attempt offense.
I don't care.
Hey.
Flowers is a stone cold baller. He has one of the best quarterbacks in the league throwing him the football, and he's the number one. Like it's pretty easy click to me every time.
That's okay.
Redraft, best ball, dynasty. I don't care. He's just a great value across the board.
Maybe this year he can outperform Keenan Allen.
He outperformed Keenan Allen last year.
Did he? I thought I saw a screenshot.
Keenan Allen did not have like fucking top 30 production, did he?
Well, I mean, Zay Flowers was wide receiver 35 points per game. I'm pretty sure when I searched it, Keenan Allen was either one spot higher or one spot behind him.
Oh my God, he was exactly the same fantasy asset. I mean, that's just the pro Keenan Allen take, to be honest. They were 31 and 32 in fantasy points per game. I mean, Keenan Allen's also been in the league 10 years, and it was Flowers' second season.
Yeah. So, Henry, part of it, too, I talked about it on my TikTok, but in games that Anthony Richardson didn't start, he actually paces a top 24 receiver, same points per game as what Jerry Jeudy was at on the year. I believe it was at, 14.3 PPR points per game. Yeah, Anthony Richardson could start, but at this point, I think Daniel Jones pretty clearly looks like the favorite, at least to start week one. Just based off the offseason reps, based off what we're hearing from the Colts brass, on top of just the thoughts that we've gotten from Anthony Richardson, the vibes we've gotten from Anthony Richardson these last couple of years. And if Daniel Jones is a starter, I mean, we just saw him pace Wan'Dale Robinson with 143 seasonal targets last year.
Yeah.
Like there is meat left on the bone here. It's going to be a team that's probably going to run a ton of 11 personnel. Realistically, Tyler Warren is the only tight end they probably want on the field at all times. Is Mo Alley Cox going to get consistent snaps? Kylan Granson, like, to me, it's very clear they're going to run a lot of 11 personnel. Josh Downs is going to be the function of their passing game, and Daniel Jones is going to hyper target him.
Yeah. No, Downs also, like, this is another thing that people don't really realize about Downs last year. He missed all of training camp and the first 2 games of the year with a high ankle sprain. So for a 23-year-old to come into the year and be kind of, he needs that development time as a young player. And to come into the year, missing all of training camp, missing all of the preseason, and not playing until like the second game of the year. And then after he played a full allotment of snaps, like week 3 onward, he's a top 24 receiver in points per game. And like you said, when Flacco was starting and it wasn't Anthony Richardson, you're getting a guy who was a legit needle moving producer. I don't see how he doesn't pay off, especially in Dynasty because he's young, but as a redraft ADP and a redraft projection, even though he's getting steamed up to like the 6th round or whatever on Underdog, I mean, relative to the receivers going around him, I think his price is totally fine. Like at wide receiver, his price is fine. Obviously in home leagues, he's going to go later, like 8th round probably in terms of actual ADP. But he's just such an easy click for me across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know, like I am very confident Daniel Jones will start more games than Anthony Richardson this year. And I'm very confident that when he starts games, he will hyper target Josh Downs because like I just said, nobody in the NFL that Harmon has sampled so far has beaten zone coverage at a higher rate, which is the predominant coverage that he will see every single play. And he can beat it at a very high level.
Yeah, I'm curious. So Jaden Reed was also 82nd percentile against zone.
Yeah, which I'm also drafting the shit out of also.
Yeah. I don't know. You keep saying 3 games for Rashee Rice, but there's about an 11 game sample size of him being an elite wide receiver. But
I wouldn't have called him elite as a rookie. He's a very good receiver. Don't get me wrong. He got a 3 game sample size that Harmon sampled last year for his zone coverage.
The last 8 games of 2023, he was like a top 8 receiver in fantasy.
Oh, of course. Yeah, he was really, really good
when he got the snaps.
Exactly.
To me, it's like much because you keep seeing 3 game sample size. Like we have 11 games of him being.
I'm saying 3 game sample size because a lot of people keep taking his splits from before he got injured in 2024.
Okay, well, if we extend it back to the back half of 2023, 11 game sample size of him, and I mean, hey, if he runs 40% of his slant routes and he's 99th percentile against zone coverage, that'll work. Look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, man.
My point is that like. I think there's a lot less of a difference between Rashee Rice and Amon-Ra St. Brown as there is between Josh Downs and Zay Flowers. Like, I think they're all cut from the same cloth and they can all produce the same if the conditions are right. Now, again, Flowers doesn't have the pass volume. Downs has a little bit of target competition. But generally speaking, if you put Josh Downs on the Chiefs, if you put Zay Flowers on the Lions or whatever, I think it's be relatively the same result.
So I'm going to try to find something real quick. And I'm going to do a blind resume test for you live. Just because I'm curious how close these two were. Here, you can answer some questions quick. I'm gonna pull this up for you, and then I'm gonna ask you the question.
I agree, Henry. It was not a huge sample size, but there was a ton of games still that Richardson played where he actually was able to throw the ball capably, and Downs was playing full snaps because he was coming into the season with an injury, and he was able to produce at a pretty high level there. But
do we not have access to the old wide receiver profiles from like 2021?
No, I don't think so. He paywalled those in a different tier.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But anyways, really quick, let's go over our teams, Danny, and then we got to get into these dynasty decisions, teams, team reviews, and whatnot. And got a couple people in the chat asking if we can go over their teams as well. I'll just quickly rattle through mine. I go with a 3-stack of QBs: Burrow, Mahomes, Darnold. I thought Darnold was a good value, even though I took the 2 quarterbacks early. I went with kind of a competitive build, given that I did take 2 quarterbacks that are in their late 20s. T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf, Jameson Williams, Deebo Samuel fill out my wide receiver core. Again, I don't really have an alpha there, but out of a startup, you're going to have to kind of pick and choose what you want in terms of your positional advantages. Like if you have a startup draft and you walk out of it in our Flock My Teams, analyzer, and it says your top 5 at 3+ positions, then you killed your startup. Like you're going to have to kind of give and take where you want your weak points and your strong points. I grabbed Henderson, Chase Brown, and Tajay Spears to start my running back core. I'd probably continue drafting running backs beyond this point. And then I grabbed Tucker Kraft and Terrence Ferguson as my 2 tight ends here to feel pretty confident about what I got in that position group. And then Danny, if you want to go over what you got here, and then we can, we have people saying 104, 101, and 112. We can quickly review those as well.
Sorry. Basically what I was saying is 2021 Cooper Kupp's grade versus zone coverage versus Rashid Rice is what I was trying to find.
Yeah,
but anyways,
sample size, Danny.
Yeah. I mean, fair. We'll end up seeing
3. Travis Fulgham looked like 2021 Cooper Kupp in a 3-game sample size too.
For sure, based solely on the reception perception. When you also combine the 11 games of production, it's not Travis Fulgham, but you keep making that comp, which is
he was also like 10th percentile against man, which he's going to see a decent amount.
Guess what? Did we think Juju Smith-Schuster was an all-pro talent?
No, but he was definitely better than 10th percentile against man at his peak.
It doesn't matter. He was giving you fantasy point production, but
he was.
I digress.
Rice is going to be fun, man.
Yeah. 2 quarterbacks in the first 4. Obviously, Daniels and Love really like that projection for me. Getting Lamb, McConkey, Omari Hampton between them. Yeah, sure. If you wanted to take Justin Herbert where I took Jordan Love because of the stacking influence, I think that's a perfectly fine pick too. Xavier Worthy, young wide receiver, 23 years old. Really like the value I was able to get on him there. Christian McCaffrey, like I said, I kind of wanted to give you a look on or a lens of what I would do in terms of building a competitive team. I always kind of go young in these startup mocks, so I wanted to give you guys a different look. Christian McCaffrey is my 107 in redraft leagues this year, and I still think he has access to the 24+ point per game upside we saw in 2023. That made him a top 3 consensus pick with Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb going into last year. After that, Jerry Jeudy, Josh Downs, and Calvin really finishing out my wide receiver core. Again, full PPR. Really feel comfortable in that 5-stack of wide receiver I built out. Mark Andrews at tight end, a little bit of an older projection, but he's currently going off the board as the tight end 7 on Underdog. And you do get a ton of touchdown equity working with Lamar Jackson, a guy that, yeah, sure, people might say, well, it's an unsustainable passing touchdown rate. He's done it in 2 separate seasons of his career. Like, if there's one person that's going to be an unsustainable touchdown rate player, it's going to be Lamar Jackson, because people are so fucking worried about him taking off and scrambling. He's going to throw more percentage touchdown passes compared to the overall volume that you see from the Ravens offense. Zach Charbonnet, Ramondre Stevenson filling out my running back core with Pat Bryant sandwiched between them, young wide receiver upside shot.
Yep. Not bad there. Pro Zay Flowers propaganda from Danny there. Luis.
He doesn't catch touchdowns.
He hasn't yet, but he could. Josh Allen, Mark Andrews. What am I talking about? Marvin Harrison, Saquon Barkley, Breece Hall. Again, once you take that Barkley, Breece Hall plunge, I probably don't draft Igbuka. I probably draft guys that are a little bit more win now type of assets. Like instead of Igbuka, I probably would have taken, I'm trying to see a guy on the board right now.
Like even
Jordan
Warren,
Addison, Chris Olave, probably. Like I probably take somebody a little bit more productive. That would be my only gripe with the team, realistically. And I might have gone quarterback actually where you did. I'd probably take Tua or something.
Do you consider Warren at that spot, knowing that the wide receiver tier of vets, you kind of fall off? Like for example, we take Xavier Worthy and Devontae Smith. After those guys, it's like realistically like Olave, Pickens, Waddle, like they all kind of fill in to the point where, do you take out Tyler Warren there specifically knowing what might fall to you at the next turn?
Yeah, I think that would have made some sense. And like you also could have, If you want to go Justin Fields with your second quarterback like you did, that's totally fine. I probably would have insulated myself instead of taking Kincaid, taking Darnold or Geno Smith as a third quarterback there. But other than that, I think you did a decent job. Jonnu and Mason Taylor would have been more than enough for me at tight end. So the Kincaid pick, I definitely wouldn't have gone with. I would have probably gone with a quarterback in that situation. And then, like I said, Igbuka, maybe I replaced it. Maybe you got sniped on Smith. Flowers Worthy would have also fit between really well. And they went off the board right before you did. Quickly looking at the 104, we got Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, Bryce Young at quarterback, which I feel pretty good about. I think it's a little bit too much investment in the quarterback position. I may have punted quarterback 3 a little bit more.
I do think he got good value on them. I will say, though, you taking your second tight end in Njoku after having Kittle, not only did it snipe me, but it also kept you from building out that wide receiver core. Because if you're trying to go into it this season as a contender, it's kind of tough for me to see that as much as I like Kyle Williams, he's going to be your third wide receiver, especially through bye weeks.
Yeah, I think if you were to like trade
Jennings is good value though.
Kittle plus, like after the startup, if you traded Kittle plus to get a better receiver, I think that would probably make sense. Or maybe you trade Njoku plus to get a better receiver or something. That would have made some sense. But I mean, regardless, I think you build out a pretty nice team. And
real quick, I'm assuming you probably did that because in the exercise, you're probably like, okay, Njoku's falling way too far. I'm going to try to stay liquid in my draft and see what I can get for Kittle. I mean, the example that I actually have in our Devy startup is I traded up for the 512 with Bryce Young being available. And what I did at that point is I noticed, hey, I have Trevor Lawrence, I have Justin Herbert. Just taking Bryce Young might be a little bit of overkill in terms of the quarterback investment. What I did with Ryland, shout out Ryland if he's watching, basically orchestrated a deal where I sent Ted McMillan plus Justin Herbert and a couple of Devy picks. I believe the one, I forget exactly what Devy picks I gave up. I mean, we can check in the chat after. And I ended up getting CeeDee Lamb and Cam Ward back. So for me, I'm more comfortable taking my quarterback 3 earlier if my quarterback 2 is Cam Ward, as opposed to if I had Justin Herbert and made that 4th round investment, probably would have rather punted quarterback 3 if I kept Herbert.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think there's always maneuvers that you can make after the draft is over. And then quickly at the 112 here, we got a bunch of receivers to start it. I like the kind of base that you build up here. Getting Trevor Lawrence at the 5-1 is pretty insane to me. I think that was great value. Tua, great value. Daniel Jones. I don't really have many qualms with this team at all, to be honest. I think you took pretty much all players I might have taken in your situation, except for maybe I go with a different tight end other than Evan Ingram. Other than that, like I probably go Jonnu over Evan Ingram, likely over Evan Ingram, somebody different. But other than that, I think you crush this. And then the guy cut off there at the bottom.
The only other suggestion I would have is with this team specifically, knowing that you weren't going to take a running back 2 possibly till round 11. The one maybe decision I think I would have taken instead for you would be taking Omari and Hampton where you took Garrett Wilson. If you took Omari and Hampton where you took Garrett Wilson, you had him and Judkins, and then you can add Connor as your running back 3 in round 11. To me, you would still have a elite firepower at wide receiver, a tight end value that you like there. Maybe you're higher on Evan Ingram than I am. I think that's reasonable. And then you still have your quarterback values that you got there. Lawrence, great value. Tua, great value. Daniel Jones, great value. I honestly think you've built out a great team. It's just the one pick I would disagree with would be Garrett Wilson over Omari and Hampton.
Yeah. So that is the draft. We are going to pivot over to our team reviews, trade questions that you guys sent for us. And then also we can showcase, after we're done these, I just want to rattle through these first. We can showcase what's going on in our Devy startup real quick. And then maybe show one last time what we got going for tonight's Game 7 of the NBA Finals. So PSanchez, the first question that we have here, full rebuild mode, targeting Harvey/Caleb Johnson. So he would be trading Jaden Reed and a 203, and like he said, a full rebuild in exchange for the 110, where he would intend to take a running back here. What are your thoughts on this deal? To me, it's a bit steep.
It feels a bit steep. So I'm assuming his rookie draft hasn't started yet, considering 2025. He says targeting Harvey or Johnson. Yeah, like for me, Jaden Reed is a good enough piece, and 110 versus 203 is negligible enough to the point where I would just hold Reed. Because like I said, like whether you have Harvey at 203, Caleb Johnson at 203, Jackson Dart at 203, Luther Burden at 203, like I honestly think like 110 through 203 is a pretty flat tier.
It is, yeah. Like I actually really like Reed, man. I think that it's a smidge steep to take those running backs. Like if you were getting into Judkins territory with this trade, that would be one thing. But you're not getting that high. You're getting, presumably to kind of reach almost on Harvey and Johnson, because this is a 2 quarterback league. Like I think this is a bit too much to pay personally.
Yeah. I would hold Reed in the 203. Also, Josh asked if we could quickly.
I don't know which team you're. Josh, you got to let us know.
It's just Josh Engen.
What is your username on here? Because I don't see it.
It's just Josh Engen. Engen Josh. Trust the process. I see it. 19 Genty.
What? Am I stunned?
19 Genty Gibbs McBride Taylor.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. In the mock draft. Yeah, I thought he was talking about on Flock.
He did leave a comment and
okay, yeah. We'll hit this question. So we like this side. Go next question, then I'll quickly go back to the draft and we can quickly review that. Failed to update question status. Okay, it's gonna do this stupid thing on me like it does every single friggin' time. Yeah. Okay. Ang and Josh, I'll let you kind of review this really quick while I get this sorted out on the site.
Yeah, so obviously big time running back investment here. Genty, Gibbs, McBride, Taylor. You get 4 quarterbacks here. I honestly think structurally, I have problems with how you structure this team. I'm gonna say it flat out. Only 2 wide receivers throughout the entirety of the draft. You grab your second tight end before your third receiver. You grab your 4th quarterback before your third receiver. To me, you got to prioritize wide receiver a lot more than you did in a full PPR. I just think, I don't know. There's really no direction here. How would you look at this, Corey?
I think grabbing 2 running backs out the gate immediately wants me to
take
compete.
Taylor.
You can't take, well, it's not even that you can't take Taylor necessarily. It's that I wouldn't have taken Ward for sure. Like I want to be taking probably competitive quarterbacks after that. And yeah, I think the Taylor selection, I probably go wide receiver there instead, especially when you start 2 running backs and a tight end. You really do got to catch up at quarterback and receiver, which is generally the 2 positions that you and I prioritize during drafts. But if you were like, okay, I could hear arguments to start a draft like this and be like, I know I'm going to get good value on Geno, Stafford, Rodgers, late quarterbacks.
You targeted the wrong quarterbacks.
Short term. You can't really leave your receiver core this shorthanded though.
Like to me, you don't have your direction because you draft the running backs, which would insinuate that you're trying to win year 1, but you don't have remotely enough firepower at wide receiver or quarterback to be able to actually compete in year 1.
Yeah, and I think the profiles that you're taking here is generally like young players, but if you're going to take young players, you shouldn't really build around running backs in the early round, right? Because like you want to take, like, I don't think any of the picks themselves are bad. Taking Dart where you took him, Golden where you took him, Addison. It's just,
I don't think you reached on any pick.
It's just that like you probably want to take that with the shell of a team that's not yet ready to compete. Like once you take Genty and Gibbs, even though they're young running backs, they are competitive assets because they're running backs. You don't really want to build around running backs.
Yeah, it's just my issue, I guess, is like structurally, there's no real direction here.
Yeah. I think the direction would have been clear if you're like, hey, I'm going to take quarterbacks late. I'm going to go Genty, Gibbs, McBride. Instead of taking Jonathan Taylor, you take
a wide receiver there.
Yeah, you take Devontae Smith or somebody like that that's a competitive guy. And then
take
instead of Addison and Golden, archetype-wise, you maybe take guys that are a little bit more competitive. Like
you take Prescott or Mayfield as well if you're going to draft 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. I think it could have been executed a little bit better, but generally speaking, I don't think any of the picks themselves were bad. It's just the whole team in totality it's not really fluid and functional.
Yeah, I'm assuming Prescott was the pick after because I think it was the 3rd round reversal, right? So,
Prescott was the pick after. Yeah, Prescott or Goff even too over Ward would have made more sense just given the build that you have here. But for the most part, I think you did a fine job. It's just more like,
I don't think you reached on
after you're done drafting, you want your team to kind of look like a cohesive unit rather than just a bunch of picks that you got value on to some degree. But anyways, LScooter trade question that we have here. So he'd be receiving Brian Robinson, Jamar Chase in an early to mid projected 2nd in 2027 in exchange for T. Higgins, Bucky Irving, an early to mid 1st and a 3rd. Okay, so let's start and equate these here. Is Higgins plus Irving equal Chase, give or take, to you? Or is that not enough for Chase?
I would want Chase.
Okay. What about Higgins, Irving in the 1st for Chase in the 2nd? Does that about equal each other?
Chase.
You'd still take Chase there.
Yeah. Start 10?
Start 10. I might be on an island here, man. I think this is enough. This is not enough to move off of Chase, but I think it's about fair.
Yeah. To me, I would value Chase over 3 2026 early to mid 1s. Like I would prefer Chase over 3
Right, but Higgins is worth more than 1-1, and so is Irving.
I would value Higgins about an early to mid.
I would say both of those assets, Higgins and Irving, that considering they're exactly ranked basically where they are for me, that I would want a 1 and a 2 for each guy.
Yeah, I just wouldn't pay that personally. Like I would rather
so
Chase.
We're a tiny bit off on this projection. I do really like Brian Robinson, though. Obviously, he is one guy that I really like at value right now. Generally speaking, pretty decent, fair trade. If we want to tie break, it's a start 10. It's relatively a shallow league. We can give it to the Chase side. But I will say this is it's starting to get on the closer end of things for me, to the point that if you were to maybe get this done, I wouldn't say you killed, because he's getting the Chase side, right? Yeah. So I wouldn't say you kill this guy in this trade. I would even potentially want something shaved off of this for me to feel really great about it. But if this is what it takes, this is a fair trade in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly just be willing to do it without even the second, but yeah.
That's fair. All right. Let's do the other trade questions, and then we'll get back to 3-point scooter and some of the team reviews that we have. Fear and Hunger. Okay. So he's getting an early to mid 1, early to mid 2. Bryce Young, Justin Jefferson, a lot of heater trades here. Holy Jefferson. Crap. Joe Burrow, DK Metcalf. Yeah, I mean, this is the Jefferson side for sure, because I mean, you have Burrow and Jefferson flipped. Like you have Jefferson higher than Burrow. I have Burrow higher than Jefferson, but even in a world where Burrow is higher than Jefferson, it's like a really negligible difference to me.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather Bryce Young and Justin Jefferson or Joe Burrow and DK Metcalf?
I would rather have
Young and Jefferson.
DK Metcalf probably, but it's not that far off.
Yeah, I would rather have Young and Jefferson, but also when you contextualize a 1 and a 2 for a 3, like it's very clearly the Jefferson side.
Absolutely. Yeah, like even if you told me, okay, Jefferson plus the 2 equals Burrow, because I like Burrow more than Bryce Young and a 1 for Metcalf and a 3, like that's a pretty easy smash there. So really, really nice trade. If you can get that done, Fear and Hunger, that is a great move.
He said he gets a 2027 1 and 2 as well.
Okay, yeah, that's insane. Dude. That's insane. If you're getting a 1 and 2 in 2027, in addition to this, give him whatever he wants on top.
Absolutely.
On here, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you want DeAndre Swift? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, give him whatever he wants. I'd be willing.
B-Rob is yours.
Irving. I'd give him Bucky Irving on that side, and it's still not a fair trade.
I might be willing to give them Amari and fucking Hampton at that cost.
Yeah, Austin P90. David Montgomery, Travis Hunter for RJ Harvey, and early to mid projected first, and Pat Bryant. So, I mean, nuts and bolts of this is like what the 112 in rookie drafts plus an early to mid first in 2027 for the 102 David Montgomery. Like this is probably the Hunter side, I would imagine.
What would that 2027 early to mid 1 have to be the other side? Like it would have to be.
It has to be 2. Smith.
Like that's what I mean. Like maybe by then Arch like he would have to be. And it's like if it ends up 105, it's like just give me the fucking bird in hand. That's the elite 102 asset. That's Hunter right now. Like sure, maybe this deal materializes better for the side. Like if that pick ends up 101 or 102.
And Harvey smashes too potentially.
Yeah. But like right now, you're telling me. Not to mention, we're assuming it's a 2027 early to mid 1. What if the guy whose pick that is, like, obviously, you're going to have more context on how that pick.
I'll take a look really quick at whose team it is.
Let's take a look. Rasheesh.
I mean, his team stinks for sure.
But by 2027, like I see,
like he has a bunch of picks next year to be able to fill out his roster and stuff. So again, by 2027, I wouldn't say that this is going to be a team that's going to have the 101.
But that's what I mean.
It's like 3 to 105.
So it's going to be, keep in mind, you're going to get one more draft class of players. How many 2026 picks does that side have? Let's just take a look.
He had a bunch of 2026 picks still.
So he's got a bunch of 2026
He doesn't have his own 2026 one, though, which is kind of unfortunate. But he does have a bunch of 2s. He also already has another 1 in 2027. So,
but then you also have to look, it's like you're getting, like, still, even if it's not great production by 2026, like maybe Kelsey's still kicking around at tight end / Goddard /
I mean, Pearsall Burden could be really relevant at that
point. You're adding Hunter to that. You're adding Montgomery, like in your quarterbacks alone. Like, go to the quarterbacks.
Well, this is his team also.
Oh, so he's doing.
Wait, hold on. Which side is he getting? He's getting Hunter and Montgomery. He's giving away.
He's giving the guy his first back.
Okay, so he has the shit team.
Oh,
the person making this trade is this team.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, that's the question.
I personally, I'd be willing to do that.
I think
also, it's not even his own first. Arch City assholes.
Oh, hold on. Whose first is this?
It's the young guy's first. What? Did he already make? Yeah. He must have already made the deal.
He's given this guy his 1 back. No, I think this is the trade on the table here.
Well, I think he must have already made the deal because otherwise, Or okay, no, I'm confused.
I think he's making this deal to reposition himself to compete better in the long term by getting Travis Hunter, right? He's trying to his team's not good. He's trying to go get Travis Hunter because Travis Hunter gives him a better competitive window. What I would suggest is that if you do this trade, you should probably go get your own first back from whoever has it.
Yeah. Well, look up. Go to the top. Let me just make sure he's Rashish.
Yeah,
it doesn't show. Okay. Regardless, so I like the Hunter side.
I like the Hunter side, but go get your own one in addition to this. That's the tip of advice there. Yeah, but Hunter helps you rebuild in the long term. Makes sense.
Joe, you must be new here.
Yeah, we'll try and stop doing that. But yeah, you must be new here. It is indeed true.
Yeah.
Okay, DJ C32. Lots of heater trades. Apparently, you're getting
two Jamar Chases?
Okay, hold on.
That's insane. Wow.
2 Jamar Chases is a lot of fun. Let me try and add Brian back into this trade. Is it going to add him twice? Okay, let's take Jamar Chase out.
Dude, 2 Jamar Chases in the deal. Are you kidding me? Sign me up.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the trade. Basically, it materializes. I mean, this is relatively like a decently fair offer because Chase is the best asset in the deal. You're getting the pick installation. I think the sum of the parts in the other deal is enough to make me do this, though.
Yeah,
like Bo Nix, Tyler Warren are like really, really good assets, right? Yeah, it's not like you're getting bums and you're getting Brian Thomas in addition to it. So you're downgrading at wide receiver, giving up some pick capital, and you get Bo Nix and Tyler Warren back. Like that seems like a pretty fair deal to me. Like if I try and balance this out, Jamar Chase is about equal to me to Jamar Chase in the 1 for Bo Nix and BTJ is probably about fair, give or take. And then Warren for a 2. Like I think it's probably leans towards the Bo Nix, Warren, and Thomas side slightly for me.
Yeah, so it's by the expert calculator, exactly fair trade. By my rankings, it's exactly fair trade. By your rankings, it's exactly fair trade.
Yeah, so this is a fair trade. And I think this is a really, really good way to replenish some assets to get a young quarterback, get a young tight end, get another young receiver. If you're a rebuilding team, like this has to feel pretty good. You solidify a couple more positions as opposed to just having the dominant asset.
Yeah, I guess my one caveat, if you're a rebuilding team, maybe you want to hold your 2027 early to mid 1. But like if you have something that can function, like say you have another player that you can give them to supplement that pick. Because like I would be curious if you're giving up an early to mid 2027 one, if it's your own, what is the state of the team? And I mean, I guess the other factor too is if you're getting Warren, Nix, and BTJ, is that still going to be an early to mid 1?
Yeah, I mean this Warren, Nix, BTJ is this side. I'm just trying to find the guy with Chase because I don't see.
Must be the guy at the top.
This guy doesn't have Chase on his team though. Who has Chase? What? Maybe it just highlighted the wrong team. This guy is Chase, so I'm assuming this is the person making the deal. I mean, he kind of needs to retool a little bit, so I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like you have Geno and Hurts right now, you get Bo Nix in there, you get BTJ in there, you get Warren in there. It really does help you flatten out your assets a little bit. Obviously,
I don't think that's going to be an early to mid 2027 one when you add those pieces.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. But even if it is, like, I think this is relatively a fair deal. So I do kind of like the Bo Nix side, especially after looking at the team. So pretty decent there. Let's get into the other trade questions here.
Also, Staph Infection is an insane name.
Yeah, that is wild. Bijan.
Not yet, by the way, Saber.
Bijan for RJ Harvey, a 3rd, a 1, and a 2.
Bijan.
Very easily Bijan Robinson.
Yep.
He said all picks likely to be mid to late. I'm a top 3 team. Go get your hammer, brother. Get your hammer.
Go get Bijan. Shout out Gingerale, by the way. I'm curious if that's the Devy League.
MEH94.
Meh.
Lots of heat assets on the tables here, man. These guys, every deal's been Chase, Jefferson, Burrow, Neighbors, like all these elite assets.
I would hold Daniels.
I obviously am very high on Neighbors. You can see he's my 7th overall player.
I would simplify this to, if you want Daniels, give me Neighbors and a pick.
Let me take a look.
There's just a lot going on there.
Let me take a look at this deal. So you're giving up Daniels, and you'd be getting Neighbors to go along with Lamb and BTJ, and you
with that quarterback core,
you Hawkinson.
With that quarterback core, you can't lose Daniels.
I know you can't though. And Fields, Dart, Milrow. That's the all upside, no floor quarterback core.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like if you're intent on moving Daniels, you know where you go to the Drake May team, say, hey, what can we do plus Drake May to insulate yourself? Maybe you get a 2027 1 and 2 to be able to get that done. Or I mean, you saw, for example, I made a similar deal with, I believe it was either Lamar or Hurts, where I got Drake May at 2028 1 and a couple 2s and 3s, just because again I'm higher on May. Also, did you see the training camp clips? Camp clips
of May?
Yeah, I mean that's what we got to attach ourselves to, because it's just an exciting.
If the training camp clips look good, the guy's going to be a baller. If they look good and you hate the guy, it's just training camp.
Exactly,
that's the rule.
Well, what he did say is Hunter Henry helped him win a championship on his first fantasy team.
That's funny. Hunter Henry would be the floor, by the way, for speaking of TJ Hawkinson. Saber says like Hunter Henry was a lot more explosive before his ACL tear, and that would be what Hawkinson would look like if he is in fact no longer the same type of athlete. I still have Hawkinson tight end 4 over Warren and Loveland. I realize I'm on an island with that take, but I just find a tight end, the bird in the hand is so much better than the one in the bush, or whatever the expression is. 2 in the bush, whatever the expression is.
RB Unk.
Yeah, I'm an RB Unk. Tyler Warren and Loveland fit more teams, so I do get in a startup wanting to take him over Hawkinson. I just think Hawkinson is, assuming he's healthy, is he's got league winning ceiling, and we've already seen it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a reasonable take to have. With that being said, should I take Henderson or trade for Brees? I think you would have Brees higher, but I think I have Henderson 1 or 2 spots higher.
I mean, they're in the same tier for me. So like, if
I take Henderson.
If I look at this team, he's got I mean, he's building up the shell of a rebuilding roster. I would probably not want to drop Brees onto this team yet. You have tons of picks. Just take Henderson.
Yeah, I agree there. Given the
situation, he also has Drake May too, so he's already tethered to that offense.
God, I mean, it'll be a treat for us May stands. I'll just say that. I might have to spend some big on some like
big May stands. I'm already higher on him than you. You think Caleb's better?
Where do you have him ranked?
Drake?
Yeah.
Quarterback
5 in Dynasty for me, by the way.
Okay, so maybe he isn't.
I don't think you have him higher than me.
No, I don't.
Where do you have him? 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just I guess you have him over Caleb now. My thing was that you had Caleb over him.
Well, they're 5 and 6.
Right. Okay. So, anyways, let's move into 3-point scooter here. This is a full team review, so we're going to go a little bit more in depth. And again, if you guys want to do a whole team review here, you can get them in the chat. First year playing Dynasty, just wrapped up our startup. PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, 3 flex, 1 tight end. So start 9, 1 quarterback, a little bit of a shallow league here. Looking for suggestions on how to build a long-term contender. And he has team 3-point scooter, which is 3rd in the My Teams Analyzer. I would say
this is a quarterback core of Lad. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1 quarterback league, though, remember?
Okay.
So
right.
You're not going to... So the one thing I would say here, 3-point scooter, is that it appears you may have used our Superflex rankings to draft this team. But regardless, I mean, you still made out with a really solid bunch of assets.
Oh, yeah.
Like, getting into 1 quarterback startup in a 10-team league, like walking out of the first couple rounds with Jefferson, AJ Brown, Achane probably felt pretty good. I would imagine those were your first 3 picks. And then you probably got Higgins and JT and those guys right after that. I'm a big fan of the fuck the tight ends build right here too. I feel like you can get by with those guys. It's a 10-team league, so you absolutely have the worst tight end core, not even questionable. At this point, maybe I like the build they have.
Yeah, let's see who has the 12th ranked and 11th ranked quarterback cores in this league. Like, are they?
It's a 10-man league, so it'll be 10th ranked.
Oh, sorry, 9th and 10th ranked. Okay, so even the 10th ranked has Herbert. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a 10-team 1 quarterback. Like, you're
that's
probably
the issue.
Not getting anything for the quarterback position.
It is unfortunate. Like, you would, because I'm thinking like you would have to trade Caleb or May, but like, there's nobody else that would probably trade for them right now.
None of these guys are going to trade for a quarterback. Realistically.
Yeah, it's a 1 quarterback 10 team.
Unless you're adding in, hey, I'll trade you Jonathan Taylor plus Caleb Williams for a better running back. Like, that's pretty much what you're going to have to do in a 10-team 1 quarterback league.
Yeah, because I'm thinking maybe you use one of those quarterback pieces to try to get a tight end, but unfortunately in a 10-team 1 quarterback start 9 league, they just don't hold a ton of value.
Yeah, no, you're not going to get a whole lot for those guys. I'm fine just having a really strong quarterback core, playing matchups, that kind of thing. The only thing that really sticks out to me is the team is probably going to be better year 2, given the young receivers that you kind of have there. depth wise. But I mean, your starting lineup is going to be really solid across the board. Like, think about redraft ADP of these guys: Achane, Jefferson, AJ Brown, Higgins, Jonathan Taylor, all second round picks. Then you have Hubbard, 4th, 5th round pick. Burden, Higgins. You're a little bit weaker behind, let's say, Hubbard as your first flex or whatever, your second flex. So injuries could really disrupt how good this team is in year one. And your depth is not like, you don't have a ton of depth guys that are like, oh, there's Khalil Shakir on my bench that I could throw into my lineup if somebody gets injured. Like, there's very possible that Luther Burden, Jaden Higgins would be kind of who in your lineup if anybody went down with time, which might not be ideal year one.
Yeah, which is fair. And then who knows, maybe like a Keenan Allen sign somewhere and you just get free depth. But even like 10 teams start 9, there's just going to be teams with better built out depth at wide receiver, like you said. You do have a strong running back core. Like you said, you're going to have to patch up the tight end core. But in terms of a startup valuation, I think you did a good job in the startup. Obviously, you're the number 3
coming out top
value.
3 in the startup is pretty much all you can ask for. Like, I mean, this guy did a great job by the looks of it. Like, he's being carried by some top end assets, but he actually built out some good depth too. So, I mean, this guy definitely did a good job, but he also doesn't have his 1 for the next 2 years. So he should be number 1 in the analyzer in terms of value.
How did he get 3 how did he get 3 first round startup picks?
He has no 1s next year or in 2027. So he must have built his 1s.
Yeah, but even like he's got Ted, he's got JS, because his depth isn't cratered.
No, he's got he ended up with, in a 1 quarterback league, walking out of the first, I guess probably, how many of these guys are top 3 to 4 round picks in a 1 quarterback league?
Dude, I think
like
he's
5, 6 players here.
I think he's got 6 players that would go in the top 24 of a 1 quarterback league.
Genty would, Lamb would, Bowers would, McMillan,
JSN and Rice
on the fringe, JSN and Rice probably on the fringe, but I would say at least top 35 type of assets for sure.
Yeah, at worst, right? Because I mean, for example, we just saw Rashid Rice go with the 306 in the Superflex draft. You take out the quarterback position outside of maybe you take one of the top 3 or all the top 3 guys, but I mean, quarterbacks 4 on, you're not taking Jalen Hurts over Rashid Rice in a 1 quarterback league. You're not taking anybody after that over him.
Yeah, no, really productive build for that guy. But yeah, I would say his question was, how do you build a good long-term contender? And because this was your first startup, I don't know how many other people it was their first startup.
Don't get too crazy.
Yeah, don't get too crazy. Don't deal your first, willy-nilly. If anything, be patient, be hyper scrutinizing your team to some degree, because if it's everybody's first startup, there's a good chance that everybody thinks they can win. And if everybody thinks they can win, and you're getting to the midpoint of the season, your team's 4-4 or something like that, and you're like, I don't know if I have what it takes to go over the top here, because let's say a couple of guys are having down years, maybe you've dealt with some injuries or whatever. I would say Jonathan Taylor would be the first one I'd be looking to sell, just because he'll probably be productive. He'll probably give you a lot on the open market. And he is going to be 26 or whatever this year. So he's not a guy that's going to be super, super long-term happy. But this is kind of a wait-and-see team. I do think you could definitely compete. You could also make a move during the season if things are going well, maybe upgrade a tight end, something like that. But for the most part, this is a pretty good shell of a good team. You just got to wait and see how it materializes during the year. But don't get too crazy and shove the chips into the middle after a 2-0 start or something.
Yeah, we gave that guy at the top a couple minutes of flowers, but realistically, for 3-point Scooter being in his first startup, he's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So really good team that you've built out for first year playing Dynasty, and again, good understanding of your league settings. Again, quarterback, maybe you went a little bit overboard there, but I'm assuming you got really, really good value on those guys. And it's not like quarterbacks who hit aren't going to be good. In a 1 quarterback league. Dude, Maine, Williams don't really have a whole lot of value now, but if they're young 22, 23-year-old quarterbacks who have a top 10 season this year, they'll have top 50, top 60 startup value.
Yep, I agree with you there. But overall, for your first startup, I think you absolutely crushed it out of the park. We can, unless you have any other closing thoughts, we can move on to Staph Infections team. Shout out. Funny name. The other thing too, Kyle says, apparently there was more on the Bijan trade. If we quickly want to check if we missed anything, that would probably be appreciated here. Which one was it? That one?
Oh, it was Rashid Shaheed.
She doesn't change our answer. Still taking Bijan. Unfortunately, Rashid Shaheed isn't a needle moving enough asset to be able to flip our thought on it.
Yeah. But anyway, staph infection, go see a doctor. First off, go see a doctor. Second off, first Dynasty league, pretty much a home league with some sharp guys in there. So, I mean, you and I have probably played in home leagues like this as well. Yeah. League is a 10-team Superflex. 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 3 flex, kicker, defense. So definitely a home league type of vibe there. Went heavy wide receiver in the startup. Team can compete, but I am weak at running back. Should I try and trade for better running backs or do a 1-year punt? So first off, if you guys are in a home style redraft dynasty league, it's almost always going to be optimal to 1-year punt out of the startup, just generally speaking, because not many people are going to be wanting to do that. And B, your inclination is I'm weak at running back, I should go trade for them. There's a good chance you're going to have to overpay because that's how they're treating the running back position. But if you 1-year punt, get a lot of picks, draft running backs in the rookie draft next year, then that's probably going to be a more efficient way of filling out your running back core, especially knowing that, as I've done more research on the 2026 class, it's kind of by far and away the best position group in the class right now is running back. So yeah, I'd feel pretty good about being able to just 1-year punt, weak running back core, get a high pick, fill out your running back core in next year's rookie class.
Yeah, let's take a look at the team as well. Obviously, like you said, fresh out of the startup. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're looking at running back. You have the Arizona running back obviously locked up with Connor versus Benson. You could pretty much guarantee that those are going to be one of your running back starters. I think at least early on in the season, Tony Pollard can give you some utility. You're not forced to make an aggressive move right away because I do think you have at least guys you can trust in your lineup right away this year. But if it came in season, you're like, oh, shoot, Jamar Chase is having another legendary year. Drake May, Jordan Love, Daniel Jones has been fire as my quarterback core. George Kittle is the tight end 1 or 2 in tight end or in fantasy points per game right now. And like we were mentioned, the depth at wide receiver, regardless, start 10 league, 10 team full PPR, you're repping out 3 or 4 of those guys on a weekly basis. You're really loving where you're at. I personally would be comfortable. Again, it all depends on the cost. If people are like, yeah, I want a first for Derrick Henry. I want a first for Joe Mixon. I want a first for, like, if that's the cost in this league to get a running back, just 1-year punt, like Cordy said, because you can get cheaper opportunity cost running backs in next year's class. But if it's like, hey, you can get a decent, 1-year projection for 2026 too, or even if you wanted to get cheaper, like James Conner archetype, maybe it costs you a couple 3s. I'd be cool making that type of purchase. I wouldn't overpay on a complete 1 or 2 year projection and lose that first round pick.
Dog, your wide receiver 8's Jaden Reed. Like
move a receiver too. That's another factor.
That's what my thought process is. And specifically, move St. Brown. That would be the one that I would move. Because St. Brown probably gets you Bijan. Like I traded in our Devy Disciples League, St. Brown for Bijan straight up.
Pretty much, yeah.
That was the trade. That was the trade. It was straight 1-for-1. I had a really strong receiver core. The other guy had a really strong running back core. I wanted a running back. He wanted a receiver. I swapped him straight. Amon-Ra St. Brown for Bijan Robinson. The reason I would say swap St. Brown is because St. Brown has really, really high market value. And generally at running back, I'm either going cheap or I'm going expensive. So going for the expensive Bijan Robinson, Gibbs, Genty caliber of asset makes the most sense. You could also maybe go JSN for Devon Achane. That might be in the relative territory that you could get Achane or Hampton potentially too. But I mean, relatively speaking, this
we have your trade partner in the chat.
What's up? Did it because I have, the other guy was, did it because I have Bucky, James Cook, Henderson, and Montgomery. And I did it because I have Neighbors, Igbuka, Chris Olave, Godwin, a million other receivers on my roster.
You had Hunter in the other league. That's not the league you got Hunter.
No, I got Hunter in Degeneracy.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't have him anymore because I traded him to you. But
yeah, dude, I traded for Hunter in both of those leagues. Though one of them I gave up Amon-Ra, one of them I gave up Justin Jefferson. So if you guys need what's the term? Skin in the game proof. Just look at my Devy rosters for how much I love Hunter. I mean, my dynasty portfolio across. Like I have how much Hunter?
Yeah. I don't have a lot, actually. It's unfortunate. Is there a tax on players at some point in the season? Yeah. I mean, generally,
usually by week 10, week 11, you'll start seeing once people know, hey, I'm fully in a playoff push, I'm fully in a buy push. That's usually when the assets, let's just say, have a 1.3 type of premium.
We also know what they are too at that point in the year.
Yeah.
Like we know who's having the good year, who's having the breakout season, who's having the legendary season, that kind of thing.
Also, Ralph can confirm, did select him 212 in the Devy startup that we are in currently.
I don't think I have any Travis Hunter, dude. I'm actually nervous. I don't think I've drafted Travis Hunter one time. The only times I had opportunities to draft Travis Hunter were when I had 103s and he went 102, or when I had 102s and I traded up for Genty. I did it twice. I had 2 leagues where I was at 102 about to take Hunter, and somebody was like, hey, I actually need receiver more. Do you want to trade up and get Genty for like not that much? I'm like, all right, I'll just take
and those 2 leagues you mentioned, you literally like were built around receivers because that's how we do our startups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already had my shells built, and I was like, damn, it'd be nice if I could get a running back right here. And instead of just taking Hampton, I'm like, hey, how much does it cost for me to just go get the real deal?
Yeah. Also, Dylan, the perks of living on the East Coast.
Yeah,
Perks of living
absolutely.
on the East Coast. It is indeed almost 12:40 for us.
Yes, sir. And I'm hitting a little. I'm going to be in Danny's neck of the woods here in a few minutes. We're going to IKEA.
There you go.
Near your. It's in Burlington, so it's near your place.
Shout out Burlington.
Shout out to Burlington. Anyways, yeah, this team really well built. Honestly, really well built. I think just go trade a receiver for a running back, specifically St. Brown or JSN.
We'll say one thing because Dylan is a Niners fan in the chat. Current 49er, former Burlington Stampeder, Curtis Rourke, his neck of the woods. I know you can appreciate that.
Shout out.
But let's get into the review. My apologies. Yeah, I agree with you. If you can move a monitor for Bijan, Gibbs, Genty, I think that would make a ton of sense given the context of this team. And then if you wanted to patchwork some of your depth with not your 1, but your 2s, your 3s, maybe some of your depth receivers, like you wanted to move a Jaden Reed, a Rashad Bateman, even if you wanted to move Luther Burden, like I would be comfortable moving any combination of those receivers if you're getting enough value back at the running back position. It's just my worry would be because this is a first year Dynasty league. I'm assuming, like you said, a couple buddies. Can we go to the descriptor of the league?
He said it's a home league pretty much. So Matthew Golden, what are you going to get? Friggin' Tajay Spears for that in the home league? Like you need to be getting something kind of significant if you're giving away like a Golden or a Burden or Downs or Flowers or something, which is why I think it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Where in home leagues and expert leagues alike, people kind of agree that St. Brown and the top tier running backs are on the same level. That's why regardless of league market, you're probably going to be in the same range, relatively speaking, with those top running backs and those top wide receivers.
Also shout out Dylan. Anytime somebody says anything negative about Purdy, he goes me and Dak mode. So appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
I understand the passion, brother. I understand.
I understand. I do it with the better cornerback of the 3. So
relax.
How many reviews do we have left? We have just AJ left after this one. So unless anybody else, beats the clock or whatever, we'll have more.
I can see if we got any emails. We got another trade question from AJ. It looks like, I believe, as well.
Okay, well, we can move off a staff infections team. Like I said, be patient. Worst case scenario, you can move 4 running backs in season, or just kind of 1 year punt it, like you kind of made reference to, might be a profitable strategy. AJ, classic Gingerale. Drafted from the 110, no 3rd round reversal, brand new startup, much more of a casual group. I'm curious to know, AJ, if you're in the chat, how many leagues are you in? I'm just curious to know how many leagues you're in.
Well, he's got a league with a lot of the similar people: Deadpool, Drew, Sean, a lot of those people in a league that me and Fled actually co-managed. We've seen it before, Alcoholics Anonymous, if you remember.
I remember it, yeah.
Similar vibes, except we're not in this one specifically.
Yeah. Wanted to try a different build that I knew this league market would still allow me. Solid quarterbacks and wide receivers later in the draft. Traded 301 and 2026 1 for 202, which was Genty. That's pretty solid value, honestly.
Yeah. It's like Omar and Hampton.
Essentially, I mean, you're talking about 301, like Marvin Harrison and a 1 for Genty kind of thing, is give or take about a fair value deal.
Well, I just think even in the context of his own class, it's like, would you pay 103 plus a 2026 1 to move up to 101 this year? I think that's about equatable value.
Yeah, Hampton to Genty.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, you came out on top in terms of the analyzer here. You said you went later.
Hunter IDP, by the way, he says.
IDP. So, yeah, I mean, he should have been a top 12 startup pick, I would say, in an IDP league.
Dude, in an IDP league, you can play him in the IDP slot. He should go 101. Like, he's giving you wide receiver plus defensive production. I don't know how much
DB production is worth, so I can't say that for certain, but like, I'm sure he definitely gains a shit ton of value.
But like, let's just say even in year 1, let's say he doesn't have his full capacity receiver. We both believe he can be a 20 plus point per game receiver, but let's say in year 1, he's only 15 point per game receiver, give or take, which is about a top 15 to 20 level projection most years. Because, I mean, Josh Downs is about 14.3 is the wide receiver 24, just kind of equating that. If he gave you Josh Downs in his rookie year, but also gave you, I don't know what the equatable point per game would be in defense, but maybe a few picks, a couple tackles, however the scoring is.
Best DB average, like 10 points per game. So let's say he's a 15 point per game receiver plus a 7 point per game DB. I mean, you got a 22 point per game player.
22 point per game player in a spot, like you said, where everybody else competing for him. Because again, you could play him in the IDP slot. The best IDPs around him would be like 10 or 11, like you said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you actually contextualize the advantage that he gives you in the IDP, because now you're not starting Hunter, a top 12 wide receiver like Hunter is in Dynasty plus Joe Schmo random DB. You're starting Travis Hunter in your IDP spot plus Mike Evans makes your lineup.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, right? Because just the value of being able to play him in the IDP slot is just so fucking huge.
Yeah. I would say I may, even if I was in an IDP league, because again, I don't play IDP, I would maybe still take the top 3 quarterbacks, but he should probably be right off the board after them, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Kevin Durant traded to the Rockets.
Whoa, actually?
Yeah.
Phoenix Suns are trading for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 pick. And dude, the fucking Rockets fleeced them. Jalen Green's the centerpiece of the deal. Jalen Green?
Yikes.
Okay, the Rockets are fucking scary. I can't lie. With KD now? Holy crap. Sorry. By the way, it's always fucking Arthur and AJ where random shit happens and we go on a tangent.
Yeah. Also, I opened my Twitter timeline. The first tweet is Victor Wembanyama is so generational that in his 2 seasons with the Spurs, they're 4th and 2nd pick in the draft. Jesus. I just thought that was funny. Anyways, AJ built out a let's monopolize the top running backs team. He has Bijan, Gibbs, and Genty. Can we talk about this?
I think he was texting me when he was doing this, and I'm like, hey, if you want to do it, go nuts, because I think he told me he got good value.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I think this is a nice build. I mean, he said he went weak at wide receiver, and I guess it is weak for sure, like relative to like how we build teams and like what we usually advise people to do. But Hunter, Higgins, Downs, Burden, Evans, Jacoby Myers, Mooney, like that's not bad still, considering you have the best 3 running backs in fantasy and Quinshon Judkins somehow in addition to those guys. So, I mean, it's a great team. You built out a great team out of the startup, man. When I look at the analyzer, I would consider a smash of a startup to be anywhere beyond 2,000 to 3,000 beyond the rest of the league in the number 1 spot of my team's analyzer. So the fact that you're like 4,000 higher than everybody is really good. Really good.
Agreed. Sorry.
Like
I'm
being
just
number 1 on your team is like, it's great news.
Sorry. I'm just taken aback. Jalen Green is your centerpiece for Kevin fucking Durant. Sorry.
So who do the Rockets have other than Raptor great Fred VanVleet and Kevin Durant?
So, I mean, their whole team is stacked. They kept Sengun in the deal. They kept Amen Thompson. They obviously lose Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, but I mean, you're adding a go-to scorer in playoff crunch time. They have
Brooks Canadian?
Pardon? Dylan Brooks is Canadian. Mississauga.
Yeah, he played for Oregon, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Him and there was another guy that was Canadian also on the University of Oregon at the same time, I think, right?
Yeah. Trying to think. Was it the big man, right?
Yeah, I can't remember. They were both from like the
GTA. Is Jordan Bell Canadian? Is that who it is? Jordan Bell?
So, yeah. They were both from the GTA, I'm pretty sure.
Because I know Jordan Bell got drafted to the Warriors. Let me see. Is he Canadian? No, he's from LA. Okay, who else was on that team? The University of Oregon. I completely forget. If you guys know in the comments, feel free to leave them. People are saying, dude, who the fuck thinks the Suns fleeced the Rockets? Durant is worth probably 2+ first-round picks on top. People will look at, 20 points per game. Jalen Green, young player. He's an inefficient shot chucker. That's what he is. Like, what do the Suns
Is he the Wan'Dale Robinson of the NBA?
Dude, he's one of the most overrated players in the league.
He said, I'm saying I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, like, don't get me wrong. Like, Green has some nice moments where he'll make plays. He's athletic. He's got when his shot's going down, it's a pretty looking shot. But I mean, if you're the Rockets and you have a young nucleus around Durant, now Durant can be your go-to scorer in clutch time. Maybe you beat a Warriors in that type of series with Durant. I think this is just a low risk, high upside move if you're the Rockets on a team that is probably going to be a top 4 level team in the West next year.
Yeah. Shout out to Fred also.
Yeah.
Because he's Raptor great. And he looks like Mike Evans, so I like him.
He does. You're not wrong.
He does look like Mike. It's funny that he's smaller than Mike Evans as an NBA player.
Yeah, no,
that's he's shorter than the receiver is shorter than the NBA player. Like that doesn't make any sense. But he's like 6'1" or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
And Evans is what 6'3", 6'4", right? No, he's 6'5".
He's 6'5", I think. Yeah,
beast.
He's a beast, man.
Beast, man.
Mike Evans has been inspiring NFL franchises to draft receivers who are above the height of 6'4" in the first round for about 10 years now.
Yeah. Also, Jacob Sanderson had the perfect thoughts. Always thought it would be Houston, but this return is so bad. One first, got none of their future ones back, and took on a shitty Jalen Green contract.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And Aaron submitted a team as well.
Yeah.
So we'll have one more after this.
Jeff, if you want to submit a review, feel free, brother. We'll be happy to tackle it for you.
Yes, sir. Anyways, anything else on AJ's team here?
I mean, obviously AJ knows what he's doing here. He's the number one in the analyzer. You built up that running back core. Judkins RB4. You still have good wide receiver talent. And I mean, like for a team that has those running backs, being able to still get Lawrence, Prescott, Penix as your core, Kraft and Joku as your 2-10. There's no real flaws on this team. And all you have left to show for it is that you don't have your 2026 one. To build this roster and only losing your 2026 one, I think you did a great job.
3 as well, but yeah.
Who the fuck cares about your 3? You got fucking Genty, Bijan. Like, is there any possibility this team doesn't end up with a clear 110 to 112 pick this year?
No, I don't think so.
Like, straight up.
I mean, this team's, you'd have to have like a massacre of injuries. And I mean, he has Algier. Like, he'd still be kind of fine if Bijan went down.
That's the thing, too. They didn't get their one back. They did. Like, how do they not at least get their one back? The Suns, so they can actually control their own tank. No, they trade Durant before getting their own fucking one back. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the league, and the Rockets are also going to profit on the Suns being.
Booker going to get traded too?
I mean, fuck. I don't know what they do at this point.
Should they trade him?
Dude, Booker. I mean, if you're going to take on Jalen Green, I don't see a world where Jalen Green and Devin Booker coexist in the same backcourt. That's an absolute fucking atrocious defensive duo. Like, Giannis is that a rumor or did you just? Okay, no, I think Dylan's just.
No, we all know Giannis is going to Toronto, guys. Come on.
Yeah, no, I mean A+ deal for the Rockets. That's all I need to say there. An A+ team built by one Gingerale 36.
There you go. Let's get this refreshed here because I believe we have Aaron and then AJ submitted a super message as well. Big laughter. We're going to get you that flea flicker one after this is done as well because we had to go back and forth with you in the DMs. But AJ said, what do you think of my flock and right deal with Flet? So in our startup right now, Danny, you can even share the draft board if you want. I just want to look at his deal that he did.
Draft board in terms of the
flock and right startup.
Yep. Gotcha. So I will share my screen now. You guys should be able to see it. It's still stuck on the Underdog screen.
Okay. So AJ he traded away with Flet, he said. So I see 2 deals with I see one with RK Schmidt.
It was for Olave.
What was it?
It was for Olave.
Okay. Let me see where it is. Gingerale for Flet. Okay. So you traded away the 1108 and then I'm assuming some Devy picks.
Yeah, he got the Devy 1-2 turn from Flet and Ron.
Okay, so he got the Devy 111 and 202 for the Devy 601 and 604. So dart throw Devy picks for. I mean, you probably get some decent options with 111, 202.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You're getting either the top 2 running backs in next year's class. You're probably not getting any of the top receivers either. Like Tyson's going to be gone. Those type of guys. Like you're probably looking at maybe you swing on a quarterback, maybe. Yeah, like you could get some mid-level wide receiver 3 to 5 in either this year's class or 2027's.
So it's a relatively similar deal to the one I ended up making with Bailey. If you recall, I basically traded the 110 and 310 Devy picks. I ended up getting the 512 and bumped my 8th round pick up from the 8-8 to the 8-1. So relatively similar structure, except they did their or Gingerale got their early second rounder, and gave back some startup capital. So overall, I think the deals are relatively similar to the one I did with Bailey.
I mean
the deal precedent, you know?
Yeah. So what was it was Olave that you said that went 608?
Yes. Also, by the way, Ralph, I will check after the stream. I just don't have really enough time right now to look at the deal and kind of think of a counter and stuff like that.
Yeah. So they got Olave plus a 10th rounder, essentially a 10th to an 11th swap for giving up that 110, 202 turn in the Devy startup, which will take place after this, after this startup here. And then, obviously you TD Vultures.
Buddy, plenty of
brother. You see all the damage that's on the board right now.
Plenty of time to trade. I haven't picked a single pick at my own slot and it won't till the 10-11, and I can't even guarantee I'll take it there.
And then I'm just being the absolute raging casual that I am and taking it every single one of my slots.
You haven't made a trade?
No, dude. I've been trying to make trades the whole time, but every single trade I try and make, I end up going, I don't think I want to do that because in my defense, Neighbors, Puka, Murray, all very clearly the top players on my board. Like I said, I would have taken Bijan other than the Puka. I wanted to get some shares of him. Mayfield was easily the top player on my board with my pick, but I was debating him versus Laporta. And then Hawkinson, I wanted to grab a tight end. So I'm just going to take him. The only pick that I was like, I should probably trade back here was the Flowers one. But nobody wanted to trade up. I reached out to a couple people. Nobody was like, I want to come up for a pick right now. So I was just like, I guess I'll just take Zay because he's my highest rated receiver.
It is hilarious how you keep reminding me how I'm bleeding clock, but I haven't made a single pick at my own slot. So meaning like I'm actually making trades.
But you are bleeding clock.
I am,
4 hours to make each trade.
I'm not doing that on purpose. Other people are on different time schedules.
Is bleeding clock. The opposite of doing that is what I'm doing, which is like 30 minutes when I'm on the clock, I'm picking.
We have 8-hour slows because everybody in this league is on different schedules. I have no problem bleeding a few hours if I do end, because like the amount of times I'll end up bleeding but still make the deal. It's like, well, I ended up making a deal, so it's not like I bled for nothing, you know?
Yeah, and Jared said that you did make one pick at your selection. It was Marvin, and you also did you take Herbert too?
I took Herbert, but it was at
you traded. Yeah, you traded him.
Different spot. Funny enough, it was actually Ryland's own draft slot. And then I ended up trading him back to Ryland.
Shout out.
I believe the deal ended up being what? He traded up. He traded up for Jordan Love. That's what it was, because I had the 308. Okay, that makes sense. So I got a couple things here too. Somebody asked if we could do a baseball team review. Unfortunately, neither of us know baseball like that.
I do not know ball at all.
Yeah. Who said it? What, Saber? You guys do baseball team reviews? Yeah, dude. I'm not gonna lie. The only prospects I know in baseball are the ones that play for the Red Sox, just because Anthony Campbell and Mayer got so much buzz. And also, full transparency, a lot of my baseball takes I learned from Flett and from Brock, because I mean, and Kev too on Twitter. Like, I don't know.
Dude, if they don't play for the Blue Jays and they're not like Aaron Judge or Stanton or some huge player around the league, I don't know them. Like, I don't know shit about baseball.
Also, bet Jeff, we'll cover you too.
But anyways, we went over the deal that Gingerale had with Flett there. I think it was good value to get the Devy picks. AJ's going a little bit more of a rebuild type of team here. And then we'll get into, I believe it was Aaron in the chat that submitted this one.
Also, shout out Dylan, by the way. Rafi, second game against the Sox, hits that homer yesterday. Basically won them the game 4-3. It went to the top of the 9th inning, and you guys were able to ice us out of the game. 1-1 so far in the series right now.
Yeah, and you know what I'm about to say here. We're not allowed to talk about fake sports on this. We will allow hockey and basketball talk occasionally, but we are not allowed to talk about fake sports like baseball on here.
Dude, I will say betting on baseball is so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a degen sport for sure. And I would rather go without any sports at all, which is about to happen after tonight, because there's no hockey, there's no football, there's no basketball left. I'll rather go no sports for a period of time than watch baseball. So
also, Jeff, your team, once we refresh, will show up. I got the notification on Google right now, so don't think that there's any glitch. It will show up once we refresh.
Here, I'll just refresh it now so you can see it
as well.
But yeah, we'll get into Aaron's team here, and then we are good to go. So startup yesterday, home league, first dynasty for most of the league, very active trade market, 20 plus deals done. Wild for a home league, that many deals. Initially wanted to punt.
Sounds like our league.
Yeah, value fell my way during the startup. Galactic team wants May, but I'm hesitant to sell him because of his ceiling. So you are OG champ. Good sign that you're out on top here. Cheap running backs, top 2 quarterbacks, some upside behind it, and a loaded wide receiver core plus a decent tight end. Looks like a team that you and I would draft, and he also was able to collect an extra one. This is what we talked about in the Dynasty startup strategy. You have a great foundation, and you collected an extra one in each of the next 2 classes.
This is a great team. Fluid. You structured it well. You built through your youth. You stacked up your wide receiver core. Got 2 quarterbacks we both love. Running back is the last priority to be able to fill in terms of a 1-year punt type of setting. Now you have the fluidity where if Hawkinson's back recording top 3 level production at tight end, because your team's young enough, you could always cash him in. Maybe you get a 2027 1 and 2 for him once he's producing. Same thing with, Swift. B-Rob. You have guys on this team that you can easily liquidate because the wide receiver core and the quarterback core specifically that you build is so young and has such value accrual upside that if you wanted to liquidate the rest and just build around that core, you have the affordability to be able to do so.
Yeah, I would not be opposed to seeing if you can do what we talked about with the last team where it was like the St. Brown for Bijan thing. How much on top of Hunter or McConkey would it take for you to get to Bijan, Gibbs, or Genty? Because I look at this team and yes, it's a great shell. And yes, you could compete a year from now after a 1-year punt. But like, I think this team could win. Like, I think this is like you swap out Hunter for, let's say you go Hunter plus Luther Burden for Ashton Genty plus a piece back or something like that. I'd feel pretty good about this team's ability to win.
Yeah, I'm assuming you might have gotten some value on Hunter considering the other players on your team. Like, I'm assuming maybe in this league, they're like, oh, he's going to play corner. I can't take him till round 4. And like, you probably got value in that regard. Because otherwise, I just have a hard time seeing you getting, I mean, Neighbors I have as obviously a top 25 level asset. McConkey I have as a top 25 level asset. Travis Hunter, Drake May.
He said.
Yeah, 402 for Hunter. If that's where he's going in your league, realistically, you're
okay. Well, then
not
Ladd would be the guy that I would maybe try. Ladd plus something for a running back like Bijan, Gibbs, or Genty would make some sense.
And maybe you get a cheap running back as well.
Repositioning some assets if you can would make some sense. He did send the board. I'll check it in the chat right now.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll take a look at it now. I'm assuming probably in the chat for the review.
Yeah, it's in the chat for the review. Does anything stand out to you aside from just kind of, hey, we're going to see what happens and keep going here? Because to me, I think B-Rob Swift, that's good enough running back depth behind one hammer that you can win.
Yeah, and maybe you would like another like cheap back to like a Connor or someone like that, but like that's not something you should attack until in season because, like I said, you don't want to make a decision too early on this team. This is the perfect house money situation. If B-Rob's punching in touchdowns at will for Washington, if May and Murray are both giving you top 12 level production at quarterback, Neighbors is like the wide receiver 4 in fantasy, McConkey's top 10, Hunter's playing 70+% of the offensive snaps. Maybe at that point, like because Ibuka and Burden, like you said, maybe it might be chilling behind some vets at that point. It'd be tough, though, because given the league market, I would assume that they're probably not as high on Ibuka and Burden as we are. I would actually almost rather hold those guys as upside shots as depth.
Yeah, like he sent a screenshot of the board, not the actual link to the board, but I'm seeing where he got some of those players. Just because when I look at this team, I think that this is one really solid trade away from being a really good contender. Like initially I wanted to look at this and be like, oh yeah, great 1-year punt, like going to next year, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, if you can make a sharp move off of one of your top receivers into a top running back, I would absolutely feel great about this team being able to compete year one and for a while too. Like, I mean, you got those types of dudes, Drake May, Kyler, that's going to be a great quarterback core for you. You add a Genty or a Bijan or something at running back, plus B-Rob Swift, and you have future depth too, that you have buying power in season, that if Josh Jacobs is on a contending team and you want to go get a hammer like Josh Jacobs or whatever, you could sell one of those first, whatever the later of the two is, or you could go after, let's say Swift is having a nice season. You could go Swift plus a 1 to get up to a better running back or something. So I'd feel really, really solid overall about the team that you built. And he did send me the link to the draft board here that I'm going to try and pull up.
Also, by the way, my bad, Dylan. I didn't see your DMs yesterday. I asked Corey, I told you, I fell asleep on the couch at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. Sorry. Woke up at like 4 and realized I left my laptop outside in the backyard.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley at the 11-10, by the way, Aaron, is pretty insane. I'll share the draft board really quick so everyone can see it. Because it is, this is what he ended up. He said there was a lot of trades and he wasn't kidding here. So he traded up to 1-9, ended up getting Neighbors there, 212, Ladd McConkey. Like again, Barkley and Taylor went off the board pretty high though. So maybe it's going to be tougher to get from McConkey to Genty or Gibbs because they went so high in the draft. But knowing that Hampton went after and Bucky Irving went after, like you could always go down to one of those guys and maybe get a plus on top in exchange for McConkey. Like HN going like 3-2.
JT 2-8?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, also, Kyler Murray 412 is insane also.
Also, bro, Puka Nacua fell that far. Caleb 2. Oh my God. Drake May 3-1. Oh my God.
Yeah,
hey, you got some absolute value
if I show him more Drake May value.
Dude, you cannot complain with the value. Also, I said maybe get a cheap running back like Connor. He went in the top 10 rounds, so probably not going to be able to.
Yeah, Kamara went at the 7.9 or 7.6.
Yeah, fuck. Holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, the guys that stand out to me is like Hampton and Achane for McConkey. If you can pull off a deal like that, you could probably go in that direction. Or maybe a Bird, like again, like Bird and Mixon and Scadaboo went around. I'm like, it's not like you're getting
well, go to C Glasser at that point either. Go to C Glasser because I'm looking at Hampton to see what kind of plus deal we can make with.
Well, here I'll switch back to the my team's view so we can see it.
Right.
Better.
Okay.
But yeah, let's go to what did you say? C Glasser.
C Glasser. Am
I blind?
He's the one with the Cam Newton picture. Yeah, the guy.
Oh yeah, right. He said Hampton. He said something about trading for him.
Yeah. So if we could do what Hampton, would you do Hampton plus Pearsall for a lot in like a super cheap piece, or would you try to get an extra running back in that?
I mean, he has Connor too, and you could probably throw.
He took Connor 9.7. That's the issue.
Yeah, maybe you go Hampton and Spears for McConkey.
Doesn't feel like
Spears
enough
this year, man.
I know, but like realistically, he's not going to give you needle moving production. If you can get Connor plus Hampton, I think I'd be willing to do it given this running back market.
Yeah, or like you said, Pearsall maybe gets thrown into that deal, and maybe you have to throw back, Ridley or something.
Yeah, I mean, Christian.
I mean, Ridley, you got a great value on, but like even Jalen Noel or something.
Shaheed, Noel. Yeah. A couple options there. Heck, you want to throw in. I mean, Jasicki's got no worth. Yeah, something like that. I'd be willing to go Milrow as well if that got it done.
Yeah, Saber and Brock, I love you guys, but you got to stop talking about fake sports in the chat. But anyways, value fell my way during the startup. Yeah, he wants May, but I'm hesitant to sell him. If we were to come up with a Drake May trade, because this is the same guy, how do we get Bijan or Hampton out of him involved in a Drake May trade? Not that we would necessarily do it, but he does have Hunter, and you could get Lawrence back from him.
I have May ranked ahead of Bijan, so there's no way I'm trading him if this league values him as 3-1.
What if he took Drake May and Ladd for Trevor Lawrence and Bijan?
No.
You wouldn't do that?
No. I have Drake May ranked above Bijan, and I have Trevor Lawrence Ladd ranked above Trevor Lawrence, sorry.
Okay, what if it was Trevor Lawrence, Bijan, and...
a 1?
A 1, yeah. I mean,
the cost.
I have Bijan well above Drake May, so I'm comfortable doing it.
I don't. I'll take the future superstar quarterback.
Fashioning a trade around those 4 assets would maybe make some sense. Like if you could get something done involving you giving him Ladd and Drake, and he gives you Lawrence and Bijan, but you're also getting something significant in return on top of that. Maybe it's
given where he got Drake. I don't think he's getting anything significant. And in fact, like if Drake's the 301 value in this league, I'm just not trading him.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that take either. I mean, Lawrence went at 505. So, I mean, he kind of got a like the guy who drafted Lawrence kind of got a decent value on him even too.
Who's your other quarterback with Drake?
His other quarterback is Kyler.
Like
he got 412 Kyler though.
Oh,
so Kyler's not really going to probably have a great value on the market either. I have Kyler Murray.
I'm just holding Pat.
He's like my 304 or something in my rankings, and you got him at 412. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have him more so as a 4th round pick, but not 412. That's for damn sure.
But anyways, yeah, this is a good looking team, like you said. First Dynasty League, and I think you did a great job.
I mean, look at the value bar.
Yeah, value bump of 4,500 or 4,400 beyond your league mates pretty much says everything you need to know. But let's move on to the final team, I don't think we've gotten any other team reviews come through. Yeah, Jeffery D, last one that came through. Appreciate the donation that you threw on top of this as well. Roaster Toast, am I cooked? So he wants us... what's the thing called when you like punishment? Because he's like donating so that we'll punish him.
What was it? It's called Donation Station. So I see where he is. What's it called? It's a certain actual term. Fuck. I know what you're saying.
Sexual fetish.
Yeah, it's like people like getting kicked in the nuts repeatedly. Like, keep going.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what Jeff is here. So he wants us to roast the team here.
By the way, we'll try not to do that anymore because we do have a little child in the chat. Shout out.
He is a child. He's a glutton for punishment. Yeah, that's a good term for it. Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Geno Smith as the quarterbacks. That's pretty solid. Other than Justin Herbert, he stinks. Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Robinson as the main running backs, and then not much else behind it. McConkey, Josh Downs, Jaden Reed, Debo's a little weak there, and then Tucker Kraft, and then for some reason he doesn't have any picks in 26.
That's the issue.
Yeah, that's a problem.
See, the thing is, you don't really have a team that's going to win this year, but you don't have a team that has their picks. So you're kind of stuck in limbo where you're probably a 5 or 6 seed in this league and you don't have your draft pick insulation to be able to build a stronger team for next year. This is stuck in purgatory, in my opinion.
Yeah, you probably got to sell everybody.
You got to get your picks back straight up. That's my thought.
Yeah, like you don't have any way of like, you're lacking depth, but you have absolutely no way of getting it. So your only real option here is I would first try and trim the fat, see if you can accumulate picks like Pierce,
Reed, Samuel,
Jaden Reeds, and guys like that. If you can sell off some of those guys, and they'll also be a good barometer for how good of deals you're getting and how easy picks are to acquire. Because if you're getting great, pick values, like let's say if Jaden Reed's worth a mid-second, you're getting offers for like an early second, or you're getting 2 2s or something like that for Jaden Reed plus Cedric Tillman. That's a great sign that you could really tear this thing down to the studs and get multiple firsts for Ladd McConkey, multiple firsts for Jahmyr Gibbs, multiple firsts for the quarterbacks should you choose to sell them.
Yeah, and that's my thought as well. Realistically, with this team, you're just not going to be a strong contender this year. I'm cool. Like if you wanted to keep Love and Herbert, like at least for now, if somebody comes with a Godfather offer or grandfather offer, as some like to call it, shout out. I'm the person who likes to call it that. For Jahmyr Gibbs, like if somebody offered you 3 1s for Jahmyr Gibbs and you had to give them maybe Debo Samuel, but you got 3 1s out of it, I think that's where you go. Specifically, too, go for your own picks first because you want people to think. Because if you trade Gibbs, this guy's got all of them. He's tanking.
He's tanking too, man. He's not going to give him back.
Yeah.
You're in rough shape here, brother.
This is tough.
Rough shape.
This is tough. And again,
this guy ain't giving. You would have to pry these picks from my cold, dead hands. If this
and you've kind of insinuated it because you're like, I'm ready for roasting. We have to give it to you straight here, brother. Like you are in a position where you will not be able to get your picks back, but you also don't have a team that's ready to win this year. At this point, do you eat the L on your own picks and just try to liquidate everything and try to retool for 2028? Like I think that's the only real
because it's not even like you can. It's not even like you sold some of your picks. Like because if you had sold just your ones or something, it's like okay, go buy Mixon and guys that have like really short term windows. You might as well try and win at that point. But like you can't do that even.
Also, Saber, you misunderstood me. I said Jahmyr Gibbs and maybe you had to throw in Debo to get 3 1s. Yeah, he's in 8 leagues with Jay Stu. I mean, that guy probably knows you well, knows that you want to contend, and that's why he took all of your picks. But if you can somehow
overpay for those picks, man. I think you got to overpay for them. Like if
do you offer him Jahmyr Gibbs for 3 firsts and 2 of them your own?
Yeah, and you might have to give him Gibbs and McConkey to be honest for 3 1s. Like you're in a position where you have to get those picks back.
You have to get your picks back.
Otherwise, you're just going to eat. Like the other thing you could do. This is probably what I would do if I was in this position. If you can trade for 2028 ones, sell them, sell Gibbs for
that's what I was saying.
2 228 ones or something like that. Like if somebody has 2 228 ones already or something like that.
Wait, you also sold your 2028 picks?
Oh, brother.
Jeff.
There's got to be an NBA team building it like this, right? There's got to be an NBA team.
Look what the Suns, and then they just sold Kevin Durant for pennies.
This is how the Leafs build teams.
Oh man, this is the Suns of dynasty teams. You sold your 28. What did you sell your 2028 picks for? Like, I need to know. Like, did you sell it for Cedric Tillman and Jalen Coker? Like, where else would they have gone?
Yeah, I mean, boss man, you got to sell. You got to sell everybody, and you got to get your own ones back, whether they're your 26 ones, 27 ones, or your 28 ones.
Wait, you sold your 2028 1, 2, 3, and 4 for Geno, Besh, Kyle Williams, Woody Marks, and Jarquez Hunter?
No.
Oh, buddy. No.
Not the muddy face. This
no.
is put some trash emojis in the chat for Jeff right now.
I mean, we brother, ew.
Yeah, that is bad, man. That's bad. You gotta. I want to see only picks left on this team when you're done.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Yo, respect the responsibility factor. Like, hey, I put myself in this fucking mess. I'm taking care of it myself. Like, that's what I can respect, because I'm telling you what, this looks like 90% of the orphan teams that I see.
Yeah. Also, I have a gut feeling that Jay Stu is the one with all of his ones in 2028.
If I were in this league, I would accuse you of collusion.
Yeah, that is bad, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
no, what did you move the 2027 class for? It's worse, apparently.
Oh God,
brother.
This league's getting pretty flip-flopped pretty quick too. Like, there's some absolute dustbins down here versus some of the top teams, man.
Brother, ew.
Yeah, this is rough. This is a rough time. Let's pour one out. We need L's in the chat.
Pour one out. I mean, I have no coffee left, but if I did, pour one out.
Why do you have a red solo cup on deck beside you? Do you need to talk?
It's not a red cola.
It looks like a red solo cup.
Hey, Corey.
Keep calm and smile. It's like the opposite of a red solo cup.
It's the opposite of my whole personality.
Yeah, keep calm and smile unless anybody says anything negative about Nico Collins, Dak Prescott, or Travis Hunter.
Wait, it's a wild league, 100% trade. What did he say? You moved it. No!
Oh my God, dude. You better be Christian Watson's dad for that trade.
Jeff, what are you doing? What do you think? We're gonna have to get him. We're gonna have to give him the. You remember the talk we had with Corey on the team that he had only second-round picks and no players on?
Yep.
We're gonna have to give him this talk, brother. Don't think 2026, 2027, 2020. Your timeline is 2029 because you have to tear this apart.
I need a sound drop on my board here for like just taking the trash out or something.
Wait, sorry, I have to do it if I can find it. Which one is it? Is it that?
I have a soundboard beside me.
Jeff. It's better to be critical about your own team and rebuild a year too early than a year too late. The difference between a contender versus a fraud is the line where your team is destined to be a one and done. Go get your first rounder back if you dealt it already before doing anything else.
Yeah, no, this is rough. I think I found this is this a good one?
Are you ready, Jim?
I'm ready. Not that. What are you doing? You ruined my thing, Danny. Did anyone hear the trombone? Danny clicked our old intro from 2020.
Show me the money.
Yeah. We're getting demonetized for that now.
Yeah, it was like a half second. We'll be good.
Okay. Can you hear this?
Wait, you treat No, Jeff. You were the OG Nico Collins guy. When I had him wide receiver 3 in my rankings, Jeff on every video would be like, not high enough. Number 1. Every single one. Appreciate you, Jeff.
Yeah. Sorry. Did you hear the trombone or am I baked?
No, Jeff, I know you've been here for years. Every wide receiver rankings video, I've seen the Nico Collins stuff. So appreciate you for that.
Okay. I heard it. I had the stream open on my phone. I heard the womp, 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 womp.
Also,
that's what I was trying to play.
The Collins jersey's in my room. I'm not going to go there. I thought it was over here.
Anyways, there we go. Trombone was very fitting. That's what we needed. That's all we needed right there. And
Danny especially, sir. Rafi Devers, let's go.
Anyways,
it's pretty simple. Dude, Jeff, you have to liquidate everything. Like straight up. Like all seriousness, everything is gone. Like, and we're talking
your picks or not at this point, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah, fuck. I just wish you could get
picks
a couple.
In general is all you need. Would it be better if they were your picks? Yes. If they are not your picks, though, you are screwed anyways.
Yeah, that's how I view it as well. Will said it best. The smell of urine is strong here. I can confirm. And this isn't like a typical urine where, like, you've been drinking water all day and you go and it's like a great
This
deal.
is
No,
asparagus piss.
asparagus piss. You've been out in the heat all day because you've been tailgating since 10 a.m. All you have in your system is fucking warm piss brews, and you go to take a piss and it just smells like it smells like an acid site.
Yeah, no, you've just been eating asparagus and drinking beer all day. That's all that's in coffee too. Just the worst piss ever.
Yeah, but like even still, like that's just not enough for Nico.
Yeah, no, brother, you need anything no player should have a name that you're trading for right now. If you know who they are, they're not someone you should be trading for. They should be in elementary school at this point.
Hey, Jeff, I respect the commitment. And if you don't decide to tear it down again, that's your own opinion. That's your own idea. At the end of the day, you're going to play Dynasty the way you want to play it. If you win it all with this team, I mean, I'll give you a year membership on the site. I will personally pay for it myself.
Yeah.
If you win with this team, I'll give you a full year membership.
Chris Lawson from my high school will be the 2029 class out of Washington.
And Jeff, if you have the proof, you send me a screenshot that you won your league and this was the exact team that was able to win it. Like I said, full year membership, FSC motherflocker, you're covered. Straight up.
Yeah. No, you'll be covered. Yeah. Can you grade my trade? I traded T. Higgins and Spears for a Doomsday Nailer, 309, 409, and a third. I kind of like the T. Higgins 110 and Spears side, to be honest.
Agreed.
By actually quite a bit.
He said he's got a worse one in the bag. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. You've been rebuilding this for 4 years? I mean, rebuilding it isn't continuing to throw draft picks
What
away.
do you mean you've been rebuilding this?
This doesn't look like you're rebuilding.
This is like rebuild. If you were building a house, you're rebuilding with no builders and no materials.
Yeah, bro.
You just have like wallpaper only.
Dude, you're building a straw house only for the big bad wolf in this league to come down and blow it all apart.
all you have is like drywall and no builders, no nails, nothing. You're just hanging drywall on the road, like trying to stand it up.
Anytime, by the way, Jeff, appreciate you. No, the worst team.
Oh God. Anyways, God. we should probably wrap this thing up. I'm gonna double check, make sure we have no more.
Also, Jeff, left. You can't confirm this. Your username on YouTube used to just be Dynasty Troll, correct? Because that is the exact same profile pic. So I'm assuming you're the one, especially considering you had Nico, the one who every video when I would have Nico Collins wide receiver 3 would be like, dude, he's got to be over Chase. He's won every single one.
Always classic.
Shout out.
But anyways, appreciate you guys for joining us. Leave a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel, give you an idea of the schedule we got rolling out this week. We're going to talk about some muddy situations. So running back cores, wide receiver cores, tight end cores, stuff that we can't figure out for dynasty, redraft, best ball purposes, all of them. Like, so for example, the Jacksonville Jaguars backfield is very difficult to figure out right now. We'll talk through all the scenarios. Who do we like at cost? So on and so forth. Cowboys are also a muddy situation, mainly because they are dirty and suck. Then we also are going to have some trade targets by position, which Dynasty Trade Value Chart update is going to be going underway later this week. So if you guys are site subscribers, you will get access to that Dynasty Trade Value Chart. You want to know what to sell, Ricky Pearsall for on the open market. We give you guys an idea, Superflex, one quarterback, future picks, current picks, all that kind of stuff. And then later in the week, we'll have a best ball stream as usual. I'm going to be going on vacation for a couple of days. Later in the week, probably on Friday till about next Thursday or so. I might be like going to Cuba / doing something else. My fiance is done with her writing community for the next couple of weeks. So we're going on a little vacation. So Danny's going to be in charge, like Kevin McAllister, for the next couple of days after Friday or whatever. We'll have to see what happens. I'm gonna come back and there's gonna be like 7 card opening fucking videos on the channel.
Yeah, no,
there's gonna be 3 videos of Danny talking about Boston Red Sox prospects.
No, in all seriousness, just so you guys are turning into on my personal channel, I actually just threw one up. Again, like I just did that more so for fun, considering if you guys want to see me pull Caleb Williams rookie card, 101 Sam Laporta, I may or may not have mentioned before. feel free to do it. That's it. Okay. So I look back on the stream, by the way. All it showed us my address and my phone number, but I blurred it up, I believe. It should be blurred.
Danny's gonna have his mom's maiden name and social insurance number as the title of the video.
So you know what happened, right?
What?
So when I went to go check, because obviously, like, I showed up on my Panini account that I had the 2 cards coming in. I went to go click it. I didn't know it would show my address and my phone number on it, and it showed on stream for like 2 fucking seconds. I had to go back into the stream and add the little blur on top of it.
Danny was your first grade teacher. Matthew, if you submit a team in right now, we'll still cover it for you.
Yeah, we'll cover you.
But we are trying to sign off here, so do it ASAP.
I have his phone number now. To be fair, a couple of the people in the league have my phone number because I have to reach out to them for the league link on text.
What? Sorry, what did you say?
I just said.
Everyone's asking you security questions in the chat now.
Damn it, what was your pet's first name?
The street you grew up on. That's another classic.
Mother's maiden
bank
name,
account, and routing number. That one's a little on the nose, Brock.
Yeah, that one is a little extensive. Let me see. Did it actually work when I don't know why, if I should be saying that out loud. Okay. If I send you $100, will you, Danny? Mason convinced me not to text you. Also, if I send you $100, will I what?
I mean,
for $100,
he's like, I have his phone number now.
If I send you $100, will you send me a trade review voucher? I mean, what's your fucking Flock account? I'll just send you a fucking voucher.
Yeah, we can just drop you a voucher, Dylan. It's not if you have a Flock account, even if it's not an active subscription, we can still give you a voucher for that. Okay. Did Matthew's team come through? FetterCheddar just signed up for an annual subscription, so this is a good time to talk about this. You can get a free team review by signing up for an annual subscription. So in addition to having access to the site all year and using all the features on the site, you would also get a free team review voucher for it, which appears to be what FetterCheddar is doing right now when he submits his team there.
So Dylan P, do you have 9715 in your thing, Dylan? Let me know, because if that's you, Dylan P.
He said it's just Dylan P.
Okay, he doesn't show up in our system.
Let me take a look. It should work.
Doesn't show up.
Use code Flock. Yeah, we can't give you a voucher if you use code Flock.
That's why, unfortunately.
What you can do, Dylan, is make another account and just do the free trial and tell us whatever the username is, and we can, as long as it's using our code, we can give you the review. It's just if you use Mason's code or Domain's code or whatever, we're not able to do that. The way that our site works, for those of you guys that don't know, is we all, like, you can see all of Domain, Land, and Mason's like bonus content, but you do only get the benefits of the subscriber or of the site of the channel that you sign up with. So if you use code LAND, you'll get their benefits. If you use code DOMAIN, you get their benefits. Use code FSC, you get our benefits, which is obviously team reviews and other stuff there. And then if you use code Flock, you get Mason's benefits.
Yep. I'll do that on the next best ball stream, next account. Yeah.
Baseball stream is also potential.
I almost read baseball. I can't lie.
Next baseball stream.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Dylan, if you make another account on a free trial, again, you've been supporting us for a while. Like, I'll just throw you one over.
Yeah, still waiting on FetterCheddar. He did sign up for the annual. Oh, I guess I can click that. Flea Flicker team.
Yes, sir.
Damn, I'm the only one commenting. Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, you are the only one
just
commenting.
Vibing.
Yeah, we're just vibing. If anyone has any quick questions while we're waiting for FetterCheddar here, we could rip into them.
I'm assuming he's probably filling it out right now.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yep. Also,
Danny, I forgot to mention this to you. I ordered the camera, like the new camera that we're getting. So next time you guys see an in-person video at my place here, you'll see a 3-camera setup because we ordered a new main camera. So we'll have one camera on Danny, one camera on me, one camera on both of us. And throughout the video, we'll kind of swap between them the way we were doing when we were in Texas last year. And that should be nice little production value increase.
Yes, sir.
The boys. Okay, it looks like FetterCheddar submitted his team here. I'm still hitting refresh. It's not coming up.
Fetter, let us know.
He submitted it here. Bush, don't know if you say, but I told you I was in, I think, 18 Dynasty leagues. Okay. One camera on Danny, one on Bush, and one on Danny.
Jesus.
Okay, let me just refresh this all together.
Wait. Dude, in this league, because I punted off basically like almost all of my depth into like picks, I have 3 1s in 2026, and just extra like 2s and stuff across the board the next couple of years. Because of that, my current wide receiver 3 is Amari Cooper in my lineup, apparently. Although actually it's Quentin Johnson. I don't know why Amari Cooper went in, but my projection keep in mind this is year 1 of the startup. My projection, only one team has a lower projection for week 1.
That's pretty good. Also, shout out to FetterCheddar for signing up for an annual Motherflocker just to submit a brag team.
Let's go.
Just to submit a brag team, he does it. Also, AJ says, when y'all putting out the meat details? So what AJ is referring to, and that's meat as in MEET, not meat as in MEAT, just in case anybody's listening to this. The meat details, I believe, 90% sure it is Saturday, August 16th in Austin, Texas. I do not have the address yet. Mason's still figuring out that stuff, but that is where it will be. I believe in the exact date it'll be. Hey. We don't know the time. We don't know where exactly it'll be yet, but that is where we are going. to say you guys leaking everything. But yeah, if you guys want to meet us in Austin, that's when we'll be doing that. Travis and Tammy, we'll cover that on Monday's video on the Jaguars backfield. But let's get into this team because I got to go to IKEA.
Did you say we're leaking meat?
Yeah.
Our meat is leaking.
Meat is leaking. Yeah.
I'm experiencing dying. Some of these guys aren't. No. And I can respect you for not trying to finesse too hard. But with that being said, when you can be the number 1 team in the league, you may as well do it anyways.
Yeah. I mean, Bijan, Genty, Judkins, almost as good as AJ's running back core minus Jahmyr Gibbs. And then
also Brock. Wait, how did you get 4 2027 ones?
I mean, people probably traded up in the 9th round for James Conner and gave him a 27 first or something. So yeah, this is a great squad, man. This is really good. The one thing I would suggest, I guess, is Bryce Young, Drake May, a little bit weak at the quarterback position because this is a team that can win right away. Yeah. Let's call a spade here. You can win with this team right away. I would maybe see how much it costs to go from Bryce Young to a better quarterback, or even if you had to pivot into a Prescott or a Mayfield or somebody about the same price.
Given that you have a strong wide receiver core and a 10-team start 10, are you packaging Garrett Wilson plus one of those ones to try to go see what type of quarterback you can get? Maybe I'm confused, right? Like, what exactly is the quarterback market in this league? Can you get Caleb Williams for Garrett Wilson in a 1? Because he's a second-round startup pick and Garrett Wilson's a 3rd. And this guy has Caleb Williams on his roster and already has a good receiver core, so maybe he wouldn't be as interested in it. I mean, this guy's Penix and Ward. He's got Hunter in his fucking IDP slot as well. Yeah, that's pretty insane. I mean, this guy could use wide receivers here, and he has Burrow and Purdy and Prescott. So you could go after one of those QBs, whatever one you want to go after. Purdy and Prescott be the cheapest for sure. And you could maybe send him Bryce back his way, or maybe you could, like Danny said, kind of take Garrett Wilson plus a first and see how close that gets you to, like, maybe he gives you Brock Purdy plus a piece back for that. Or Garrett Wilson for Purdy straight up should honestly get that done, to be honest. Yeah, that would make sense. That would make some sense. He also, and he mentions like Judkins is in his flex right now because Hunter's an IDP slot for him. Yeah, also shout out Jeff. Submitting roast teams over submitting brag teams, and also Mason. Yes, Dylan did mention that you talked him off the edge of prank texting me, so I appreciate you for that, because I unfortunately did leak my number. By the way, the word I was looking for earlier was masochist. Masochism is when you like pain during sex, and that's what I envisioned Jeff being a fan of, because he paid for a review so we could roast him. Well, I remember a few years ago, my buddy sent me a video, like those, like those tricksters, whatever. Like if you go to like Vegas Strip or whatever, there's just random people that will say, give me $5 and they'll do some random, like, crazy thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. I have. There was one guy on the street that literally, like, for like $15, you could pay him to kick him as hard as you possibly can in the nuts as you could. My buddy sent me a video of him just absolutely bashing someone's nuts with his fucking leg. That's hilarious.
Taylor, unfortunately, the only way to get a team review is to be a subscriber on Flock. But again, the most cost-effective way to do it is to sign up for an annual subscription using code FSE. That will cover you from now all the way until next June 22nd. So you'll get through the redraft season, the Dynasty rookie season, the Dynasty draft season. Like, you'd be covered for a whole year in terms of draft guides and site subscription and rankings and all that kind of stuff. And you would also get a free team review voucher in addition to that. So that is the most cost-effective way. Unfortunately, I would love if we could give all of you guys free team reviews. Unfortunately, it's just we're a bigger channel now. When we had 75 subscribers, we definitely could have done that for free.
Yeah,
there's just too many people, unfortunately.
So for early first in MA Schaefer neighbors, like, yeah, maybe in like more competitive league markets, that would be an expensive price to pay. Given the value you've built on this team, how do you have 4 extra 2027 ones with what you already have? On top of that, you already trade. So you had 5 2027 ones in addition to this team.
Yeah, he had 5 ones. And I mean, at that point, go get neighbors. That makes sense. And Mason giving an update on how the sausage gets made here. He goes, we were about to go into a massive site drop and Joe's wife went into labor. Or he said Austin's wife went into labor. We're not sure. One of the devs' wives went into labor. We're not sure which one it is at this moment.
Yeah. Or maybe Joe's wife went into labor in Austin, Texas.
Austin and Tom are trying to take over. Okay, so it is Joe's wife that went into labor. Okay. That makes sense.
Hey, promo code Joe. I'll still remember the first share of Derrick Henry on Mason's portfolio last year was from Joe when we were in Texas.
Well, Mason better be thankful for that because
he better be thankful.
High leverage hit piece there. So,
amen.
Drafted a win now team, tore it down to nothing, and then went to work making a lot of trades. Yeah, I mean, when you're able to do that, it makes a lot of sense. When you can tear a team down in a league where people are going to overpay for win now assets, like that's what's going to happen realistically. Like, people are going to give you a bunch of first round picks, and this is the road less traveled, but it is often very fruitful in leagues where people are going to overpay.
Now we started from the bottom. Now we hear, look at this fucking team. Like just appreciate the brag. Yes, sir. Absolute beast of a team. Even the second place guy has 7,000 more than the third place guy in the rest of the league, and you have 4,000 on him. So, I mean, this guy's team is also very good, and I would feel very confident that it's going to be one of you two hoisting the trophy at the end of the year. But given your redraft projections, I mean, you got 1, 2, 3 players in my first round, top 10 overall players there. And then you like in redraft, then you have Bowers, who's an early second round pick. You have Hunter, McMillan, who are good mid-round picks. Garrett Wilson's a good mid-round pick. You got obviously May and Young and Judkins. Like, you're going to be in really great shape. So appreciate you for signing up as well, yes, Matthew. Sir. And hopefully we gave you some good gas in your tank here, because you obviously built out an awesome team. And since you've been watching us forever, we'll help take credit for some of this as well. Hey, appreciate you. And I can confirm, I mean, I've been talking with Matthew DMs pretty like, like whenever he has a question, like on Twitter specifically, literally since 2021, it feels like. So got a good head on your shoulders, and obviously you've been doing some very good work based on it, like we could tell. Yeah, Mason, we'll have to, I promise, we will go 1/3 as sick as Mason did when he hit 100,000 subscribers. When Mason hit 100,000 subscribers, he hit a 24-hour straight live stream. I can commit to an 8-hour live stream if you're down, if we hit 100,000 subscribers this year. If we can get a guest lineup, I think we could pull off a 24-hour. The only thing is, we probably both can't do 24 hours at a time. We would probably do like 8 hours of us, and then like maybe you're on with a guest for an hour, and then I'm on. Actually, that could work. The fact that Mason did it is completely psychotic, but you and I could do it because we can snap in between and shit. Like we could swap it off there. Yeah. Also, don't worry, Ralph. I feel for Ralph because he's probably I feel for Ralph because he's basically been bleeding the clock, waiting for me to respond on a trade question that I will after stream. I'm just glad the chat hasn't completely lost it on you. Appreciate you for giving me the chance to be able to reply. Yep. And one last reminder as well, if you guys want to tail this for Game 7 of the NBA Finals, after tonight, we will not have any real sports until the NFL training camp preseason kicks off. So if you guys do want to tail this tonight, like I said, all the details for why I'm making these picks are on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Definitely check out all those links down below in the description. But basically, I think we're going to get a slow-paced defensive game here. I think the Thunder will take it down. But I do like the Thunder to win, and I like these picks that are on the board. And if you guys do want to tail them, of course, you can get a free
gimme pick here. And that is why, Danny, you should connect your dummy battery. Shay, free pick if you guys are new. And then you could tail these picks using promo code FSE as always. But appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're going to sign off here at the 2.5 hour mark, and I'm going to IKEA. So appreciate all of you guys. Peace out. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace out.